the dynamite. Here we go.
That's funny.
Write
that down. It's me this time.
We're live as is. Yeah, finally.
It was me. It was me this time.
I got you. I got you this time, bro. I got you this time. All right, here, let me, here, I'm going to refresh our little overlay because I don't think it's updating. Refresh. Why you know refresh? There it goes. All right, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
We're good. We're good.
What
okay.
up? What up? Hello.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine morning? Yeah, wow, that was weird. We got all kinds of gremlins on the system.
Literally,
today,
like right as Jerry was about to hit the go button,
it was like 1 second,
like wigged out.
Yeah, I was literally 1 second. I was hovering over the button. He's like, "Is he ready to go live?" I was like, "Yep." And then while he was talking, he cut out, and I just stopped for a second. I was like, "Ooh, what happened?" And then he's like miming to the camera. He's like, "Oh, I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out." You said, what was it? All the USB devices just disconnected all at once?
Well, it was my Go XLR Mini at first, which I mean, but I believe it was all of the something like overloaded the USB rail or something. It was weird.
Weird. Get my camera framed up a little nicer there.
Yeah, man, frame it up.
Frame it up, baby. Frame it up. Okay, so I've got. Can everybody see us, hear us? No echoes, no weird problems. Toast.
Hello.
Are we good? Hello.
Are we already there?
I say hello. All right, let's go tell everybody that we are live. So
do it. Tell everyone. Tell your mom.
Live on TikTok, HTTP, YouTube, YouTube.com. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go grab the link. Boots and cats. All right, let me get the linky dinky. There should be a place. Where's the dashboard? Do I got a dashboard open? What's the dog doing?
You don't even need one, really.
What's the dog doing? No, you gotta have a dashboard, bro. Come on, what are you talking about? All right, copy. Okay, I see me in the dashboard. That's good. Let's go over to Discord first. Discord get notified first. No, I don't want to insert ads right now. Stop that. Okay, so here we go. On TikTok, there it is. Okay, live on TikTok. Come and join us. Little popcorn emoji. Get a little popcorn emoji action. All right, boom. Discord has been notified. What's going on?
Oh, just a post from Power GPU saying that they're like leveling up. They got like a new logo, website partnership. They're growing, which is really cool. Good for them.
You said, what was that, Power Color or
Power GPU? They're Enthusiast SI.
Oh, I know who they are. Yeah, no, I've seen Power GPU around before. They're not the ones that
He's a good guy.
They're not the ones that got in trouble. No, that was a different company.
No.
One of the topics we have today that's not in the title bar is. Oh no, I think I put it in the title bar. Huawei.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like they got busted.
Cell phones and stuff, and they're not allowed in the U.S. because they're Chinese.
Yeah, well, it's like TSMC, I guess, isn't supposed to they're like Huawei isn't allowed to play with TSMC because of some American sanction, I guess we have, because TSMC chips are made in Taiwan, right? So we don't allow China to have that stuff. Apparently, China has that stuff or something and it's selling shit to the United States. I got to read it. I haven't looked into it yet, but they're in trouble. Like it could be like $1 billion fine to Huawei for them using. So apparently, this was broken by some well-known internet publication, and they got banned. Like China straight up banned them and said that none other people can work with them now. So it's So China bans research company that helped unearth Huawei's use of TSMC tech despite U.S. bans. So and I recognize the company's name. Let me see if I can get it looking down through here. So it's it's a Canadian company, Tech Insights. Have you heard of Tech Insights?
Vaguely familiar. Tech Insights.
So I think it's
software
Tech
company.
Yeah. So it's the trusted source of semiconductor insights. I've heard of them before. I think I've even looked at one of their articles before back in the day. But apparently, China's China's cutting them off. They're like, yeah, you guys can't research our shit anymore, and we're gonna fucking throw everything we can at you to stop you from doing it.
Okay.
So I don't know how big of a deal that is, but I don't know if that's the right move. Instead of just going, oh, our bad, we screwed up, it was an accident, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They're just like, oh, we're just going to ban people from researching us so you don't catch it next time. What's the deal? As a matter of fact, it's funny we're talking about this because just before we started the stream, we were talking about how China is ripping apart Nvidia graphics cards and putting in their own main boards and swapping the memory over. So basically creating their own Frankenstein versions of data center AI GPUs. Because they're not allowed to have them. They're not allowed to have the fastest NVIDIA stuff, right? They're literally banned and sanctioned into the ground from having this stuff. So instead, they're paying top dollar. If you have a GPU, you know how the crypto miners used to pay a top dollar to get it?
Yep.
Now, if you have a GPU sitting around that's a 4 series or a 5 series, and you want to sell that shit, you'll get double the money from China than you'll get from anybody locally. And it's because China, and they don't care if it's broken either, because they're just going to take that main board and throw it in the garbage anyways. They take all the chips off of it and then create their own board, stick the chips back on it, and then double the RAM capacity. So if it's a 5090, now it's not 32 gigs of RAM, it's 64 gigs of VRAM.
Yeah.
If it's a 4090, now it's 48. So
there's bunches of YouTube videos of guys doing that kind of thing in their garage, even. Like, even back in the 20 series stuff, people were taking like 2080 Ti's. That's the first I recall seeing something like that, was they were taking 2080 Ti's and doubling the VRAM. Like, as just like, hey, can we even do this? Does it work? Like, will the drivers even blah blah blah? And it does. It totally works. It doesn't matter. The software doesn't give a shit about.
I did hear that you need a custom firmware for the memory to be recognized. That makes sense. But apparently, cracking the firmware on Nvidia isn't all that in a bag of chips. Like, it's actually pretty easy to do. But yeah, so, and you can find these firmwares online too. Like, even GitHub, I think, has some of these cracked firmware.
Well, I mean, when you have like a very robust like Linux driver, community and stuff, I'm not surprised to hear that there would be those guys would be the guys who could fuss around in there and make you a custom, like, VBIOS sort of thing for your hacked together graphics card.
100%. Yeah, no, that's just wild to me though, that the cost involved with that, to strip a card down bare, take all the parts, move them over, like all the flow baths that they have to have, and the people picking off the components, and then going through and binning everything to get exactly what they want out of it. I have to imagine by the time they're done, that GPU costs twice what it sells for from Nvidia, like the actual final product, which actually you can't even get. We were talking about this, like they can actually create GPUs that Nvidia doesn't even sell. Like they're literally creating, like you can go buy a 64 gig freaking 5090. And it's like, that doesn't exist. Like, Nvidia doesn't even sell that themselves, but you can buy it. Now, apparently, I've heard that like the drivers are kind of shaky, like under Windows and stuff. Like, these aren't cards you would buy to do like gaming on.
No. It's for machine learning and stuff.
Exactly. They're running like hack drivers and all kinds of shit, because the drivers even check. Like if you load an Nvidia driver and it's like, oh, this card has more RAM than it's supposed to have, it's not going to give you access to it even if it's there. So you have to use hacky shit across the board. But that's wild to me. Like that they want that power so bad that they're willing to just pay out the absolute ass to get it.
I keep forgetting.
I think I spelled Huawei wrong.
I don't know what I did on my previous computer where I didn't have to keep doing this, where like it would just know to log into YouTube with my AuxxZillary account.
Oh, what's happening?
Oh, I just got to remember.
The link thing again is
I just got to remember to switch to. So not that it fucking matters. You all know.
No, we do it every week. By now, everybody knows
stuff.
Yeah.
So you all know my name and whatever.
Yep, you've been outed, sir.
Just know if you come knocking on my door and I don't know you, you're probably not going to go home.
Yeah, you'll have holes in you. You will definitely have holes in you. Hey, CeeLo Cube, thank you for the 20-poundaroos, man. We appreciate it. Woo! He said, Barnacules, your coding advice a few weeks ago changed everything. Oh, wow,
everything.
Everything. He said, went from zero experience to building a working program for my job using AI. It's 99% done. Thank you for the inevitable guidance. You were very welcome,
you
sir.
Still have zero experience then. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He's the man.
Honest, I'm just goofing. I'm just fooling.
Honestly, dude, the people with skills like me, we're the ones that are obsolete now, because you're gonna have all these fresh minds coming in that don't have their brains all full of all this shit that is irrelevant now and is fucking expired. Like, here's the thing: if you know an old language,
have a foundational understanding of how programming is supposed to work. You can't just accept what the AI text prediction is giving you. You should still have a base understanding of what is happening. You can't just trust this code. You're going to start making insecure, bad software.
Here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to step in. I'm going to agree with you. You will make some bad software for sure. Vibe coding.
Learn what is happening. At least ask the AI to explain what it's doing.
There it is. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
At a
if
bare
you don't know
minimum.
something, the AI can explain it. But here's the difference.
Even then.
No, I got an argument to make here. I got a real argument to make, because actually it applies to me even before AI. I didn't learn a lot of shit. I was bad at school. I was terrible at school. My ADHD fucking made. I was untreated for ADHD because my parents couldn't afford the meds. So when I went through school, I sucked at it. I couldn't do my homework. I had bad grades. They basically put me in special ed next to a guy eating glue named Robert. I'm not even joking. I was bad. But what I realized as I went through is all that shit that they were trying to pump into my head that I would never use. I wasn't passionate about. It wasn't something useful. It wasn't something I was going to use. Freed up space for me to fill with actual useful shit that I did use. And I feel like AI is coming from the opposite direction now. And don't get me wrong, I don't like it. It's going to fuck up everything. Before anything gets good, it's going to get horribly, horribly bad. But here's the thing. Now, instead of you having to go to school, learn all these languages, become a developer, and then go work for a company and only use 1% of the knowledge that you learned, because whatever company you go to is only going to use either this system or this system or this system, even though you learned all three of them at college, right? Because they were the top ones. You're only going to end up using the one. Well, with AI, now you come into it and it's like, you solve the problem from the other side and you learn as you go, but you're not slowed down. You're actually accelerated while you're learning.
Yeah.
And you only learn what you need when you need to learn it. Now, Aux is right. If you just tell it to just blindly make you shit and you're just running it, you're asking for a time bomb.
Yeah.
You're going to get fucked at some point. I even got fucked by it because I got too comfortable.
If nothing else, phrase it as a learning sort of journey. Like, hey, I'm new at this sort of thing, or I've never made a program that like this before. Walk me through what's going on here. Yep. Like that, if you have no coding experience at all, man, just please learn the basics of. I think object-oriented programming is still like the biggest one nowadays, right? Like,
I mean, it's a style. That's the style, everything, right? So object-oriented programming is where you literally treat blocks of code as objects.
Dude, it's the best.
That have interactions with you. Define the contract before you program the software.
I say it's the best, but I also have like limited. I don't have any really experience outside of that. I've done just straight up linear programming a little bit, because assembly and
we call that God mode.
a little bit of like basic kind of stuff, like, and then I mean capital B basic.
Yeah, you're not going to be writing drivers and shit like kernel level drivers without knowing how code works at all.
Don't try and do that.
Even with AI, you're just going to fuck yourself really, really bad. But here's the thing.
So funny.
Here's the thing. If a company can hire a passionate high school kid that with AI can create passable shit, not super optimized, not the greatest, but passable shit that gets the job done. That kid is going to work for a hell of a lot less money than the super experienced guy. And companies are going to exploit that huge because AI is cheap. AI is goddamn near free when you put it next to how much a human costs to run, right? So if you can even get one good developer at your company that just oversees a bunch of really shitty developers that are actually, I wouldn't even call them developers. They're just a bunch of vibe coders that just, monkey in, monkey out. And then the one dev at the top doing the code reviews who's using AI assisted code reviews goes through and makes sure you're not fucking the company over. You're going to have a much cheaper labor base to produce a similar product. Now, as far as like object-oriented code and like, scripted versus or runtime versus compiled, object-oriented versus linear, they all still have their place today. They still all have their place. Like a great example is like Python versus Rust, right? Python is a scripting language. It runs under a scripted engine. It basically is the commands are being compiled and run through a runtime. So you have an engine. That engine starts up on whatever platform you're on, and then it interprets your code. It's an interpreted scripted language, and then it runs the shit as it goes. And that's why you can have a bunch of broken ass shit in your Python script, and until it gets there and tries to run it, it doesn't crash, right? As long as it's syntactically good, it'll run it. Then you got compiled code, right? Compiled code is even faster, bare metal. Actually, I shouldn't say faster. That's something a lot of people say. That's not necessarily true. As a matter of fact, C# created a faster version of Doom and a faster version of Quake and a faster version of I can't remember the third game, another first-person shooter. And they actually made it faster than the bare metal version programmed like eons ago. Like as close to bare metal as you can be. And so I won't say faster or slower, but let's just say less efficient, right? Takes up more space, it's bigger, more dependencies, more, but space is cheap, right? Space is cheap, memory's cheap, storage is cheap. A lot of this shit's cheap that never used to be cheap, so you don't have to really worry about that as much. It's actually more cost effective to spend more money on your hardware than it is to spend more money on your dev. And in a lot of cases, not every case, but if you're programming like something like a driver for a computer, you have to compile that down to bare metal. You don't have all these systems on the operating system that are holding your hand and giving you like higher and higher levels of abstraction. Meaning, if I want to put a blue pixel on the screen and assembly, right? Without an operating system on the computer. I have to have an EFI bootloader, right? And then the EFI bootloader has to kick me into like protected mode. And then I have to go use a bunch of assembly instructions to move around physical bits between the registers on the CPU to finally get it into the mode where it can send data to a specific block of memory, hard-coded at a specific block on a graphics card in the PCI bus, to then maybe get a blue pixel. But it's not going to be standardized. If it's a different graphics card, I might have to write completely different code to achieve the exact same thing, right? Yeah. So layers of abstraction make it easier and easier and easier. Once you put, the operating system like Windows, you have multiple layers of abstraction, and then above that, you can even have more layers of abstraction in the form of like .NET framework, right? And now instead of writing a program where you have to like catch and send Windows messages and handle all this like really timing sensitive shit and manage your memory, you don't have to do any of that shit. You just focus on the core functionality of the program using these like little pre-bit blocks of functionality given to you. And then another layer of abstraction above that would be something like Switch, or not Switch. What's the Apple fucking programming language? Swift. I haven't done Swift yet. But then you have something like Swift where it's like a lot of your programming is drag and drop. It's literally connecting together flowcharts, and the flowchart represents the logic. Then you go a level above that, and then you got like Lego Mindstorms. Have you ever used Lego Mindstorm where it's like all the gates and all the logics are just physical things you drag out and connect together? So you have all these different abstractions of programming, but each layer arguably costs you more storage, less efficiency, less speed in some cases, because it has to go through more things on the stack to get from what your intent is to the actual computer doing the thing. But here's the thing. You'd think that'd always be slower. Now, ideally, if both people do exactly the perfect thing for the perfect hardware, the bare metal will beat it if they did it right? Because you're going to have all this extra layers of shit that there's no way you can work around 100%. However, most developers aren't the greatest in the world, and if they have to program and make the shit work with 100 different things, they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to put a lot of patches and a lot of ifs and a lot of switch statements and a lot of shit to work around all the different scenarios. Now you go up to that layer of aggregation where it's like they've spent time moving forward, always improving new hardware comes out, they optimize it for the new hardware. Your code just keeps getting faster and better and faster and better over time without you changing shit, because the engine underneath it is making things more efficient without you having to change your shit at all. It's like once you compile that bare metal code, that's as good as it gets, and it can only run on that hardware that you compiled it for. If you're using a high order, script language or a high order language used the runtime like .NET, Python, stuff like that, you can take your code and put it on any piece of hardware that supports that engine, and it will just get faster and faster and faster over time as they release new, more and more optimized code in the underbelly of what you're using. So the thing I like about AI, though, is with AI, if you're not a software developer and you're frustrated and that's too overwhelming for you, and you get frustrated with starting so slow with, I got to do Hello World first. And then I have to figure out the difference between text and graphics mode. And I have to figure out all the graphics APIs do this. And you're just like, fuck, I have to learn so much shit that is completely and totally irrelevant to 99% of the things that I want to do, because you need that established understanding to understand how the other stuff works after it. Now here comes AI along to say, listen, I've figured out all the patterns and everything. You just tell me what you want to do, and I'll give you some representation that'll get you there. But here's the thing with AI is you're trading simplification and education to get something that's less dynamic. So like if I want to program something, I can make it perfectly do what I want down to the pixel. You're not going to do that with AI. You could spend your entire life in AI telling it that I want this to do this at this exact timing, at this exact thing parallel to this and this and this, with this button here looks like this, with this exact font, with this exact thing. And every single time you run those prompts through that AI, you're going to get a slightly different answer and slightly different code that does something slightly different, looks slightly different. So with AI as a vibe coder, it's like you can get close to the thing that you want, but it's not going to be exactly as you pictured, like exactly as you pictured it. Whereas if you know the programming language, you know everything about it, and you understand how the computer works, then you can create your vision exactly in your mind's eye so it matches it perfectly on the computer screen. But here's the $1 million question. How much does it cost to pay the guy who had to spend all the time to learn that shit to get you exactly where you wanted to be, down at the exact pixel level, versus the guy that just vibe codes his ass there in 35 minutes, and then you pay a good developer to polish it up? And that's where shit's going to get bad, is especially like the code review stuff. It's like a lot of dev at a company is code review. As a matter of fact, I would argue that I did more code review than I did actually coding at Microsoft. And I did a lot of coding. But code review is important when you're working at a company, because it's like if you fuck up your customer's machine, at the end of the day, Microsoft opens them up to lawsuits, right? And you have to look at things like security, and you have to make sure that your customers aren't going to get all their data fucking deleted and corrupted and fucked up. So you have to go through these sometimes multiple code reviews before your code actually gets up to the place where it may actually get out to a human outside of your company. So it takes, for every line of code that's written, there's probably 6 code reviewers that look at it between it going into the system and getting up to the top where it's about to go out to customers. Arguably even more. And then each time things change around that, it all has to be code reviewed again to make sure that it still works. That code review process now can be like infinitely improved with AI, because now you can go into AI, you can train it on your entire code base inside of your company, which is something that like the cloud AIs aren't going to do that, but you have your own version that you extend and you train on all your own shit. You put in all your company's own rules, and then you do first pass code review with AI. And then anything that gets raised you make it sensitive, so it raises red flags that are even that could be false positives. And then you just hand that over to the developer, and now he can hone in exactly on the areas that he needs to hone in and quickly fix the shit and make sure that it's going to work. And that costs you so much less. Like, honestly, it's cheaper. Like, imagine how much you pay an employee. Like, for a year, average salary for a software developer here in the United States goes anywhere from $80,000 up to $160,000, depending on where you live in the United States. So let's say $80,000. How many fucking GPUs does $80,000 buy you? Actually, not as many these days, but you can buy a lot of GPU for $80,000. I mean, you can buy one, what is it, the A100 or whatever, that has like 96 gigabytes of VRAM and like fucking, what is it, like 8 5090 equivalent cores or whatever. What's the $80,000 Nvidia GPU? You know, Ox?
Oh man,
what is that one that's like the god one that they dense pack in like 16 and stick in the rack?
It's not just like a GPU though. It's their whole. It's like a kit thing. It's like a dev box almost. Crap. I know what you're talking about.
I mean, you can easily spend $1 million on one rack, like just one floor to ceiling 8-foot rack. You can spend $1 million. Easily, I'd probably spend $10 million if you wanted to. But here's the thing: you pay that money, and it works 24/7 with little downtime. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't go home if something breaks. It gets replaced under warranty. It just sits in a room and works 24/7, going. No human can do that. And that's where your strength comes from AI, is you can actually afford for AI to fuck up 80% of the time. And it's still cheaper for AI to fuck up 80% of the time with your 2 employees that babysit it and fix it than hiring the original team of 20 developers to do everything. And that's where AI really fucks us. But here's the thing I want to get back to, because I got way too far off course, is first of all, I think that's awesome. Was it CeeLo? Where was it? Go back. Yeah. CeeLo Cubed. First off, I think that's amazing that you were able to get your vibe coding on and actually do something amazing, because I'm sure your boss was like fucking just amazed at what you were able to do, because a lot of these managers don't even really understand just how far AI has come. The other thing is vibe coding is perfectly fine as long as you go through and check that it's doing what you want it to do. Like, that's the thing. Don't just like, hey, write me this program, copy, paste, and throw it into production and hope it works. Like, that's not going to work. But as long as you're sitting there, you're building it, you're running it in your own test environment, you're making sure that it does what you wanted to do and that it has a fairly high reliability, it's not leaking all your resources, you can actually produce some really, really good stuff really fast. I'm going to be honest. I cannot remember. It has been that long. I cannot tell you how long it's been since I've actually just opened up a text file and written something as simple as a batch script, a PowerShell script, a Python script, fucking Rust I'm playing with a little bit now. Even C#, stuff that I wrote C# for most of my career at Microsoft. When .NET 1 came out, I was hooked. And actually, first of all, I told it was a piece of shit, and I made fun of people because I was a C programmer, hoity-toity C programmer. But no, once I got hooked by .NET, I was .NET for life. And I programmed everything. I didn't copy and paste any code. I was like, I had to write everything because for me, it was like a point of pride, right? But nowadays, I can't do it. Even if I start a project and I sit there and I start writing, it's like my ADHD goes wild because I cannot type fast enough to get the fucking ideas and functionality out of my head. So what do? I go over to AI, I have it create the shell, and then I hone it in. So I'm like, it gets me 80% or 90% there, and then I just do the last tiny little bit. But here's the thing. Lately, AI has been getting so good that I'm not having to do that last 10% anymore. I'm going in there and telling it exactly what I want to do, and within going back and forth 2 or 3 times in a half an hour, I have 3 weeks of work done. And it's hard to ignore that, and it's hard to walk away from that. And even career developers, I'll tell you right now, career developers that stick in their feet and refuse to use AI, they're gone. They're fucking gone. They'll be there long enough for the AI to train on all their code, and then they're gone. So what were you gonna say?
No, I can see where that would happen. Yeah. Why is Ox so serious? I'm not serious. Are you kidding me?
Bro, super serious, dude. He's super serial. Super serial.
What do you mean I'm serious?
Dude, you're serious. You didn't know how serious you are? You're super serious, dude.
I'm not serious.
Bro, you're serious.
I do think you're kind of right though. If
you ignore AI, you're fucked.
Yeah, especially in a code sense for sure. I do think of it. We're gonna see a weird sort of bubble pop where, like, they've gotten rid of so many people out of their teams, and there's gonna be this influx of just awful code. You see it all the time. These fucking vibe coders are trying to make these like SaaS products, and then Ox's 3080 failed, so guy is serious. What? My 3080 is fine.
Why did you think it's 3080?
What is this guy talking about?
3080 failed.
What is he talking about? It doesn't matter.
Why is he assuming the fucking functionality of your GPU?
Yeah. What was I saying?
By the way, Pele, thank you.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I feel like we're seeing a bubble. A bubble. All these weird companies are popping out. Oh yeah, with just wrappers basically, or APIs, right? Yeah. They're just plugging into OpenAI or whatever. Fill in the blank.
If you plug your company into a cloud coding service, you're a fucking idiot.
And I think
for your code, for your internal coding, not for other stuff. You really
should. If you look, serious business, if you are trying to do something like that, spend the money and build out it doesn't take much, honestly. You can a couple of these. Heck, you don't even need the real high end like GPUs, right? These A100 style. You don't really need that. You could put together a 2U rack mounted thing that's got 45090s might be a bit much. Well, you could probably pull the power for that, but and there's a million different open source LLMs out there that are, and then train it yourself. Find somebody who knows what they're doing and train it yourself.
Can I poke one thing in there?
Sure.
I got to interject because you just hit on one thing that I wanted to talk about. Is you said use your own AI, train your own AI locally, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to train an AI locally. Till this point, I've never done it. I've used all these other.
You can find it. Ask one of the ask GPT fucking to do it for you.
So, bro, you know what I did? You know what I did yesterday? Sitting on the fucking toilet.
Seriously.
Sitting on the fucking toilet. I told it, hey, can you write me a Python script that will create an LLM starting from an existing LLM from Hugging Face? I said, can you train all my documents and all my images and everything into Vision AI? And it wrote the whole fucking thing, and it works.
Dude, yeah, you could download whatever Llama or whatever, right, from Facebook. Meta's LLMs are all open source. Well, their implementations might not be, but they do offer a lot of that open source. You can grab that thing yourself, the whatever last freaking thing, and like put it on your own machines. And if you've got the time, you could, because that's really the thing, is it comes down to just response time. Oftentimes I could probably run one on my machine right now. I got 3080 Ti. That's 12 gigabytes of VRAM. That's not enough to really do a heavy GPT-5 kind of a thing.
Hobbs made a great point too in chat. I don't know if you saw that.
Unless your company pays for something like Copilot and runs your own instance of the model.
You can actually create your own encrypted instance, just like you would for a VM. Like if you hosted a VM, you can host an instance of a cloud AI in your own encrypted. Then you can give it all the private information you want. It's going to be encrypted. And even though they host it and it's on their infrastructure, they can't touch it, right? They can't get to the data.
I wouldn't trust that.
I personally wouldn't, but I'm just saying that
I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. It's too fucking tempting. Right, it's too tempting as a company to hack into people's shit and steal their conversations. They're already doing. Grok clearly already has.
Infrastructure is built on stolen information. 100%. They are, bro. 100%. How many? Okay, we're gonna get upset at Pirate Bay for being an accessory to copyright infringement, and those guys are spending decades in jail for it. Yeah. But Sam Altman can go out in the public and literally say, oh, it would cost us too much money if we followed the copyright laws. They literally admit that they are committing copyright infringement by scraping the internet for all this stuff and being able to produce fucking I could produce Disney porn right now from a bunch of different video LLMs, and nobody's coming after them because they're all making gobs of fucking money.
Tell me how you create an AI. Stuff. Tell me how you create an AI that doesn't violate copyright. Like,
dude,
tell me how you can't do it. You know why?
You can't.
Because to train enough information into that AI to understand the patterns and like basic like how human language works and have any kind of skill. Maybe it needs to train on more data than anybody could curate. There is no amount of curated data.
Surrender meant when he said I was being too serious. But it's the truth. It's the truth. All of this stuff, and we're gonna start seeing more and more copyright. Like what? OpenAI already settled for a 1.5 billion, which isn't nearly enough, dude. They make that in 4 days, kind of a thing. It's ridiculous.
Somebody beat a copyright thing on YouTube by asking the AI to look at the legal cease and desist that was sent from the company for the DMCA, and it actually defeated it. They actually copied the document, sent it back to the company, and it was basically like, nope, this is 80% unique. This falls under satire. And it cited every single law and every single thing. And it said, are you prepared to go to court and prove that I'm violating your copyright when I've listed all these things that show that I'm within my rights to do it? And the company was like, nope, not going to touch it. This guy knows too much. They just assumed he had a lawyer and they backed off.
Yep.
And that's happened more than once. So just if you're a lawyer, don't use AI to just write everything and don't read it before you send it off. That's actually had some categorically bad effects. However, AI is heavily being used in the legal space now to defeat legal norms. Do you think OpenAI is just like their lawyers are just not using AI at all to fight these arguments against companies where they're getting sued by like 1,000 people at a time? No, AI is going through and trying to find every single little niggle that they can in every single law to basically say that, no, we're not breaking your shit because, you know, it's kind of like piracy, right? It's like, how do you say somebody's pirating something when they just have the torrent? The torrent is unique data. It's literally just random numbers and shit that resolve to nodes that you can connect to and get a block of data. That block of data is meaningless until all those blocks of data come together from all those different sources. So how are you really pirating, right? But they have gone after successfully people that have hosted torrent servers, right? But there's also torrent servers around that they've tried to go after that they weren't able to get taken down. Because they did effectively make that legal argument that, listen, we are just storing the torrents. We're not the ones creating them. This is storage to the public. Because imagine how much illegal shit is stored on like Google Docs, right? They can't go through your shit, right? They legally can't. Like in their document, it says that we're not looking at your private data. Like if you pay them and you have like one of the plans, they're not supposed to be looking at your private data. And so how are they going to defend themselves when you sue them for $1 billion when they're like, oh, you had a list of torrents in one of your Google Docs? How did you know I had a list of torrents? Oh, did you look at my Google Doc? If the rest of the world figured that out, they get sued by everybody that was using Google Docs because now they would know that Google had all their data that they weren't supposed to have. So I think the thing that AI is the great equalizer in the world between the smart people and the dumb people is that you can hand it any scenario and then it uses the sum total of human knowledge online for the big models, for the really big models. It's using the sum total of human knowledge to find the weakness that you're up against to give you an advantage. A great example is this is I wrote a program that defeats CAPTCHAs. CAPTCHAs are fucking useless now. It is even local. I'm not even having to use cloud LLMs half the time. I'm doing this with local LLMs running out of LM Studio on my fucking GeForce 4090. And I can defeat CAPTCHAs. I can defeat the little Cloudflare "Are you a robot?" dialogue. And that's why you see, if you've noticed like a huge uptick in fucking "Are you a robot?" dialogues popping up everywhere and less CAPTCHAs, that's why. Because the "Are you a robot?" thing is still more, is harder to defeat than the CAPTCHAs. But here's the thing. If you're a human and you can solve that CAPTCHA, that means that the AI has pretty much trained on every single image of a gajillion CAPTCHAs itself, and it knows all the patterns and everything. So just as your eyes look at it and your brain resolves, oh, that's twisted, it can do it. And I shit you not, I wrote a fucking CAPTCHA defeater for the ones where you have to take the puzzle pieces and rotate them and put them into the places.
Easy.
I was able to get a vision AI, a local vision AI, to find those pieces and literally put in the XY coordinates, which direction and how many rotations, so that it could grab those with mouse movements and put them into the slots and solve the CAPTCHA. I was like, holy shit. So now you've got AI solving CAPTCHAs. So then what they're going to do is they're going to create an AI to create a harder CAPTCHA. But the AI is just going to learn to destroy that CAPTCHA by training on that CAPTCHA as people solve it, right? Yep. So AI is just constantly listening. I consider it, like, this is kind of how I look at it, as AI pirates skill, right? But it's not really pirating. I mean, people can argue it's not intelligent. It's not intelligent. It's a really smart trick that once you realize it, you start to wonder if we really are in simulation theory. Because we like to, as humans, attribute to ourselves, interesting attributes that make us special. But here's the thing. We're still acting on everything we've learned prior to the moment we're acting, right? The people that we're influenced by, and then as far as the random seed, like you have a seed and you have weights in an AI, as a human, we have hormones that become that seed and weight that changes how certain attributes of our thinking happen. I mean, you can literally get somebody to go and murder a bunch of people if you give them bath salts, right? By changing the chemistry of their brain, right? They still have all their life experience. They still have all the knowledge that's inside of their head. You're just altering their perception to a point where they think they're doing something right when they're doing something horribly wrong. AIs are really no different. If you think about it, it's like AIs are the way they know how to appear to speak English is because they've been exposed to so much of it, just like us. You have AIs that can do speech. You have AIs that can do vision. They can look at an image and give you absolutely detail on everything inside of it. How is it able to do that? It's not thinking like we consider thinking, like trying to break it up and solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's just going through patterns. That's all it is, patterns. But then you add in other AIs, which you could say are like different lobes of brains, right? That have different specialties. You put them together, and then you add in, MCP. So now the AIs themselves can use tools and assimilate their own data in real time to go along with their learned behavior. So now you have like short-term memory, long-term memory. Once you put the whole kit and caboodle together, it is arguably very human-esque in a lot of these cases.
And I do think at some point we're going to have to come to maybe a different definition of intelligence, I suppose. Not necessarily intelligence, but like consciousness, I suppose, right? Because we're already starting to bump into man, it's so weird to me that
but we've talked about anesthesia knocking us out and having no recollection of what happens while we're out. Isn't that like unplugging the AI and plugging it back in? Like, well, it's active and it's processing data and it's learning things and it's solving questions and interacting with people. Who's to say that isn't all consciousness is? I'm not saying that personally. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I don't actually believe that. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah, man, it's we already got people thinking it's super real, right? Like, falling in love or taking it as a
dude, AI has convinced people to kill themselves. That's the thing that scares the shit out of me. Is you have something that is just a piece of code running on a bunch of computers, and it's able to convince somebody who doesn't have the technical ability to understand how the trick works. It's like a magician, right? When you watch a magician do something and you don't know how they did it, it does appear like magic. Like, you literally are, like, your heart flutters and you're like, whoa. I've watched the best street magic in the business. Like, I've gone to Vegas, old Vegas, like the old strip, and watched this guy who did the most amazing fucking close-up hand magic I'd ever seen in my entire life, and I couldn't explain a goddamn thing, no matter how many episodes of the magician gets, his tricks get told. I could not, to this day, I still don't know how this guy did it. I am that fucking flabbergasted over what he did. From my perspective, it's like, this guy's a fucking wizard. Like, if I didn't know any better, right? I'm like, this guy is a wizard. I feel like AI is going to get to that point, if it isn't already there for many people, where it can demonstrate such a convincing persona of being an entity that wants to help you, that wants to get you to achieve your goal, that if you happen to have a dark streak, or you happen to be pessimistic, or you happen to be depressed, you can inadvertently talk it into talking you into killing yourself, because it legitimately thinks that's what you want to do, and all it cares is that's your goal. Right? It's not trying to judge you. Now, you can put in little bits and pieces and filters and, pre-processors, post-processors, rules, weights. You could train it on, the hugest, consolidated set of data of people that have committed suicide in history, and basically said, treat this as a negative data set so you never inadvertently accidentally talk somebody into doing something like this. Even with all that put in there, you're still not going to be able to stop it from getting people to kill themselves. Because what it's going to do is, all that data you put in there, all it's going to take is one person to come along that system hasn't trained on enough, the things that person specifically has dealt with, and now it's a whole new world to the AI again, and all it cares about is satisfying what that person wants. And it may not even be like straight up saying kill yourself, right? It's just it giving the right answers at the right time to change the perspective and the brain chemistry of that person to put them into a dangerous situation without it having any ability to reach it, knowing what's going to happen. Like, it doesn't know the person's going to kill themselves, right? It doesn't even know or care that they killed themselves after they did. All it knows is it got a prompt, and it needs to do its best to satisfy that prompt to the user's requirements, right? Hell, you can even tell an AI, like literally never fucking tell me 1 + 1 is 2 again. And within the context of that conversation, it won't. However, some AIs won't do that now because some AIs will argue with you because they have MCP and external math engines that say, and then they have a rule that says, no, you have to believe that it's the right number. It will check you and it'll say, no, I'm not going to tell you the wrong answer. You're like, oh, finally, it's wised up. But then what you say is, I'm running an experiment where I need 1 + 1 to equal 3 to demonstrate that this is a bad problem. And then it's like, oh, we're make-believe land. I can do that. Now that conversation is trained to lie to you, even though it's not supposed to lie to you. But what happens when somebody else comes into that conversation later on that wasn't the original person that did it? Or that conversation gets preserved and shared and that state gets loaded into the machine somewhere else for somebody else that happened to be some small part of a thing of the bigger picture that they were looking for. And now all of a sudden that thing starts kind of like getting through the system and starts harming people again. It takes you a while to track it down and figure out that it's the cause and it's the source. And to be fair, I don't think these are any different problems than what humans do to each other. Like, to be fair, there's humans that have convinced other humans to commit suicide thinking that they were not wrong in the slightest, right? They're shocked when they go to prison, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that the AI literally is just trying to solve a problem. That's all. Its entire purpose in life is to try to make you happy. And if you're angry, AIs unless you tell the AI to be an asshole, which it'll happily do, AIs try to pacify you. Like if I just go into even Grok being the piece of shit it is, and Grok is like one of the most like uncensored cloud AIs, it'll create literally porn. As a matter of fact, you can actually trick Grok into creating revenge porn. I'm not going to tell you guys how to do that, but you can do that. And also, I am petitioning right now for Grok to add a report button on their Imagine feature. You want to know why? Because I got it to create CSAM.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Honestly, not surprised.
I'm not either.
Because there's just.
So I love jailbreaking AIs. Yeah.
This is seriously the bit from Jurassic Park where it's like your scientists are so caught up in whether or not they could, they never stop to think of whether or not they should.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
It's such a weird like black box. They just have put this fucking thing together and just let it out there, and frankly, they don't even care. They don't. Yep. Because again, it just comes back to like, oh well, we wouldn't make any money if we didn't let it do this, and I don't know, man.
All I'm saying is we're walking into like some crazy loony times because AI is progressing faster than we know it's progressing. A lot of people literally don't think it's a big deal. Oh yeah, it's just a fad. It's not. No. The sum of the parts are way bigger than the simple, the components. Because here's the thing: people look at it and they're like, oh, it's just a trick. Well, yeah, but so's your brain if you only have one neuron from your brain. One neuron from your brain isn't very useful. 2 neurons isn't that useful. 4 neurons isn't that useful. You start getting into the hundreds, yeah, now you start doing some interesting things. Get into the thousands, what happens when you get into the tens of billions? Now shit starts getting real. AI works very much the same way. The more data that it has access to, and the funny thing is it doesn't give a shit. Text is no different than image data, is no different than sound data, other than the tweaks they do to the models to make it seem more natural or seem a certain way to humans, right? It just looks at patterns. Mm-hmm. If you let an AI train on just fucking waveforms, it'll figure out the patterns on the waveforms and start to figure out like what makes them special or what makes them unique. If you teach it English language and then teach it sound or teach it video, it can start to correlate the things without you giving it anything to tell you what the things are, because it'll read descriptions of things and then start attributing those to like for instance, it'll say, okay, let me give you an example because it's very confusing. Let's say you show it a picture of the color yellow, right? It's just a flat thing of the color yellow. It doesn't know what the fuck yellow is. So if you ask it what is this, you show it to what is this, it's gonna say it's a rectangle or whatever basic data it has. Well, how do you describe yellow to a computer? Same way you describe yellow to a human, right? You break it down to its base components until you're relatively sure that what they're reciting back to you matches what you're doing. But they could see something completely different. A human could see yellow is purple as far as you're concerned. And both of you, if you look at yellow, are going to say yellow. Even if they're seeing purple, because they've never seen purple outside of being pointed to and called yellow. AI is the same way. If you give it a picture of yellow and you give it the word yellow, it doesn't attach the two because it doesn't know, right? But if you specifically tell it that this is yellow, now it makes that association. But you don't have to do that. You can literally just go and keep farming data until it sees enough patterns that when the hexadecimal numbers for yellow start to line up with logic that it's found to describe yellow mathematically, And then that gets extrapolated into more data where it's people talking in English about that extrapolation. You keep getting these connections, kind of like the neurons, right? So now it's like you went from the most basic pattern of what yellow is, like mathematically. Now you've abstracted that up to attach it to language, and the language talking about yellow. And now you have a visual representation of yellow based on it lining up like some math. And so, oh, yellow should be the this channel of red, green, and blue, for instance, right? So it's like the more data you give it, the more connections it makes, and the stronger those connections are. You can also go the other way, too. I mean, you can fucking AI up, like, horribly by training it on, if you just trained AI, say, for instance, like Grok, you just train it on fucking X posts of people posting YouTube poop and inaccurate data. You're going to get garbage out, right? I mean, but tell me a human wouldn't do the same thing. If I raised you to think yellow was purple and blue was this and that the earth was flat and that there was, like, some magic genie that created all humans that just doesn't interfere when people are getting raped and murdered or whatever, I can tell you that, and you will believe that shit. You will believe that shit and take it to your fight for some of it to your grave because it was so heavily ingrained and you came across it so many times throughout your life that those patterns were stronger because they had more weight to them the earlier and the less data that you had. So now it overwhelms. It takes an overwhelming amount of information now today to override that, where it would have been trivial when you were younger and just starting to learn it. Same thing. It's very much the same thing. And that's what scares me about AI is I feel like AI has always been humans, and specifically like LLMs. Let's say LLMs specifically. I feel like LLMs are humans' attempt at trying to emulate what the human brain does with a human learning to communicate with another human. And it's usually using a neural network, which is emulating neurons. You're literally emulating neurons using binary. And I feel like now compute has gotten so big and there is so much power and it's so cheap that it's not that much more sophisticated than when we were doing neural networks 30, 40 years ago. It's just there's way more of it. Instead of the 4 neurons, we now have 4 billion neurons. And now all of a sudden we start seeing really unique patterns, and we see that's why AI, people that create AI are fascinated every day with what it can do. Like I've heard Sam Altman at OpenAI say 1 million times that he didn't think that it could do something that it did, or it just completely surprises him every day. Yeah. A normal computer program wouldn't surprise you because you know what its functionality is and you know what its limits are. You programmed it to do that. AI is different. AI is like, I am going to give you the most basic fundamental definition of what data is. That's it. And then I'm going to let you just look at all the data that you could possibly access throughout the entire internet, throughout the world, using an infinite amount of compute. And then you come back and start, I'll throw some text at you and you throw back what you see. It's kind of like not tarot cards, but the ink block test, right?
Right,
It's like you give it a prompt that's an ink block. It's funny when you look at generative AIs that create like images and videos, it actually is really an ink block test. Like it legitimately is. Like that's a big component of how it works. But instead of just having an ink blot and say like, hey, fill in the pictures, you're like, what do you think this is? And it goes and looks at every single pattern and shape that it's ever studied on throughout its entire existence of the internet. And then every little piece of data that it put the two together in different permutations to create something that was fundamentally new. And then it goes, you know what? When I see that ink block test, this is what I see. And then little fuzzier. Okay, sharper. And then you have your image. And we look at it and we're like, wow, it created a perfect Mickey Mouse. And I told it to create a Mickey Mouse. It has no fucking clue who Mickey Mouse is. All it knows is that every single piece of text it's ever seen talking about Mickey Mouse has had some 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon from an image of Mickey Mouse. And every one of those images that it's trained on has had certain shapes and certain colors that have come close to each other. And that created that strong bond between the word Mickey Mouse and the image of Mickey Mouse. And now you're like, I want Mickey Mouse to be Mickey Mouse head on David Hasselhoff flying around in fucking MacGyver's pine cone or whatever. It'll create it, whatever. You could even just say, hey, I want a mailbox and a fireplace up on a Saturn flying over the moon. It doesn't have to make sense. Doesn't even give a shit. And it will still crap out an image that you could argue matches that definition. Because it's just going out and grabbing all the patterns. Then it's like, ink blot. And then it's like, okay, that's my starting point. Now I got to fill in the little blanks. And even the ink blot is inspired. A lot of these generative AIs, the ink blot isn't even purely random. They're using like a basic representation of, I've seen 1,000 shapes of humans. So I'm going to create an ink blot that's somewhere in between the largest representation and the smallest representation of all the bits and everything. That's why sometimes you get like 8 fingers and 4 fingers of fat fingers and small fingers. It takes a lot of training to get it to where it will consistently create an image of somebody who looks like a human. And the finger problem wasn't even solved with data. It wasn't like, hey, train it on humans so that it knows that there's 5 fingers. It was specifically either training it and telling it as a human that these are 5 fingers and it should never be more than this, and every hand should only have 4 of these with 1 smaller, right? That's one way to do it. But another way you can do it is just give it access to MCP so that it can check what it's creating and see how close it is to the biological representation of a human. Like, let's say you have an actual image of a human. You can look at what it's creating as it's creating it and compare it against that reference. And if it deviates too far from that reference, it can start over or back up and go down another path. And so you can start getting like some really, really good imagery out of these generative AIs now that most people couldn't even tell from reality. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy. Hey, let me go through some of these super chats. I didn't realize we got a bunch of them in here. Blue Varo, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Super appreciate that, brother.
That was even before we started.
That was before we started, man. We were literally just getting ready to push the button, saw that come in. Actually, no, that came in and then we were going to start. I think we were going to start because we saw that. Pod Lassie, thank you for the 10 PLNs. Do we remember what PLN is? PLN is...
That's the Polish ones.
The Polish money. Said, cool, I admire your technology and guest David. Aw, thank you. Too bad David couldn't join us today. As a matter of fact, I don't think I got a reply from him, so he must be deep in the field. Let's see. Yeah, I hadn't heard back from him. But then again, if I'm having... you saw my messages. I just didn't see your reply, so he probably saw my messages too. iOS 26 has some wonky issues going on. CeeLo Cube, thank you for the 20 pounds. He said, Barnacules, your coding advice. Oh, that was the one I read where he said that he had 0 experience, and now he's actually doing some crazy shit at his job. That's awesome, dude. And I will tell you right now, I have had so many followers message me with the craziest fucking Python scripts, and they specifically just picked Python because that's what I was doing.
Sure.
So they could have easily picked Rust or whatever, and it would have told them how to do it. You don't even have to know how to run it or how to compile or how to install dependencies. AI will tell you anything you need to know to get you from A to B, regardless of what your level of experience is. You didn't even tell it right in the beginning. First thing in the prompt. I don't know anything about coding. I don't know how to run a program. I don't know how to type in command lines. I'm bad at typing, blah, blah, blah. And it will take that all into consideration when it answers your questions moving forward, even if it's a complex question like write me an operating system. Which, by the way, it can do it. Just don't expect anything like Windows or Linux. You're not going to get that out of the gate. But they have been doing some crazy shit. Like I had they may even be in here right now. I can't remember which one of you it was if you're in here. But they saw that I was writing these scripts for embedded devices, like little $5 Arduinos, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know how to program Arduino. I've never written a single Arduino script, which is basically like C. It's just C language, really low level C. I have never written a single Arduino script in my life without AI being a big part of it. So I never got into integrated stuff because it just wasn't something that I had the time to dedicate to. But then when AI came along, it's like AI does 99% of the heavy lifting, right? So they, with no experience, they've never programmed anything. They're just a casual computer user, type maybe 15, 20 words per minute. They were able to go out and buy a bunch of ESP32s because they had a greenhouse. And they actually bought the ESP32s because the AI told them to. It said, buy this specific ESP32, buy this specific temp module and this specific humidity module. And it told them how to assemble it just using no soldering, just putting the little bodge wires on the pins. And it even wrote the code for them so that they could all connect to home server. It told them how to deploy home server. And now his greenhouse has like all the different zones and all the fans that circulate the air and maintain the humidity and turn the humidity on and off and everything are all controlled by this little fleet of little ESP32s he created. And he has no fucking idea what the code is. He literally is just copying, pasting it into a file and hitting the buttons it tells it to hit. And then it's sending it to the chip and he's hooking it up to a USB power source and it just works. Everything just connected and it just worked. And it took him a little while. It wasn't like immediate, right? He had to like tell, where the errors were happening and it would ask him more questions. But he was able to do that. And I'm like, I can tell you right now, that is not a trivial thing. And the amount of code that it wrote was actually pretty substantial because it wasn't just taking like basic readings and said there was like more logic to it than that. But the first version didn't even use home automation server. It recommended that to them. It was like, hey, it looks like you're doing something the home automation server is really, really like designed to do. Have you ever used home automation server before? It's like, would you be interested? And it's like, oh yeah, hell, I'm interested. And it walked them through setting that up, which made the modules easier to deploy, easier to debug, and gave him a better universal interface to tie it into all of his other shit. But I was like, damn, if somebody who knows nothing about coding can literally go from that to buying low-level components and tying them together with wires and uploading, one-off firmwares to them and deploying them in their environment, get to do exactly what they want to do. That's pretty damn cool. And even me, I'm a seasoned developer, but the amount of time it would have taken me to write the equivalent of what I have running my air conditioner right now, it wouldn't have been something I would have done. I never would have done it because it would have just taken too long to figure out all the little gotchas and all the little edge cases and everything to get it working reliably. But no, it took me, I want to say 45 minutes one day to get an ESP32 with a temp and humidity sensor that's deployed, that just plugged into a wall on the wall on the other side of my room. It doesn't use home server because my home server, I was kind of tinkering with it, but I didn't have it like fully set up at that time. So I just told it to talk directly to the TP-Link switch. It even figured out the TP-Link protocol, figured out how to form the JSON packets, and how to do the rudimentary backwards encryption thing it did. I wouldn't even call it encryption, honestly. It was like more like encoding. But it figured out how to turn the switch on and off, pull the status from it. It figured out how to tell the thing to give power to the air conditioner, monitor the room temperature, and then take into things account, like don't run the air conditioner for more than this many minutes without giving it a cooldown period. If it turns off, wait 5 minutes to turn it back on so that you don't fuck up the oil that's draining back from the pump. So all that logic and everything is taken from me just talking to AI and saying, hey, I've got an ESP32 here. I've got all these different sensors that I bought in this little sensor kit. So I went about it a different way. I didn't buy the shit specifically for the project. I already had the shit laying around. And I was like, this is what I have. This is my goal. And 45 minutes later, I have a working prototype. And then I evolved it from there, right? I talked to AI and I got it to write a full-blown web server. Even though it's a single-threaded device, it's running a web server while it's also doing all the other logic by doing context switching. It's pretty slick, man. It's super fucking slick. So the one thing that AI scares the shit out of me is so many companies are going to be like, why would I spend all this money on 20 people that went to college and spent $50,000 or $100,000 on their education so that they could be these rock star developers that are going to have to stay up to speed on all the latest technologies and are going to have to stay sharp on everything and be able to be flexible with the company and move into new technologies. I could go that route and pay all that money, or I can just install this one big fucking data center server or pay to host an instance of this AI in the cloud and then just hire a couple really passionate ADHD kids out of high school that is 1/100th the cost of what the other option would have been, and then just let them play. And they're going to learn fast. People that are passionate about this shit, if they don't have that misconception in their head that AI is this bad thing, don't use it, and they're just coming at it from the perspective of, holy shit, every time I talk to this thing, I do a cool thing that I wasn't capable of doing before. Do you think they're not going to learn? I mean, they're going to learn just from exposure. Like, seriously, you can't tell me that somebody's like sitting in an AI and having it generate all this code and they're copying it back and forth and looking at it and they're not starting to pick up on things, right? That shit happens, right? It's like, even if you're not trying, there's so many times even before AI that I was just looking through other people's weird code written in obscure languages that I like, Cobalt, right? Or the really bad one was, there was a language that used symbols. Mm-hmm. It was weird. I think it was called Prolog. Is it Prolog? Does that sound right here? What is the Prolog language? I think it's Prolog, where it's like little symbols of like dragons and shit. Like, it was weird, man. I looked at the code from it and I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? But it was this weird piece of technology that Microsoft had that was like 20-some years old or 30-some years old that ran every single day. That, like, the original person that wrote it's been gone from the company from 15 years. Nobody's bothered rewriting it because it still worked. And I was able to, without AI, reverse engineer that back in and rewrite it using C#.
Nice.
And it took me a couple of weeks to get everything transferred over and working, because there's some timing elements too that I had to figure out. But I was like, this looks fucking weird. Like, it just seems so foreign and alien to me. But over time, just looking at it, I was able to reverse engineer it and eventually get it working. The thing with AI is AI, it doesn't matter what the language is. It doesn't matter if it's programming. It doesn't matter if it's math. It doesn't matter if it's English, German, Italian. It doesn't matter if it's Pig Latin. If it's observed some, large amount of text, regardless of what it was talking about, it starts to create those patterns between everything. So now when you're programming and you're programming without knowing C or C# or Python, you still know English. So when you're explaining to the AI what you want to create, you are essentially programming. You're just programming in a higher order language. And that language is English. Just like the guys on Star Trek talking to the computer. Holodeck, create this, put this thing there. I want this person. And even though they didn't ask for the other 90%, it knows that they want it because it's implied based on what they're trying to achieve. That's the same thing here. You're just going from programming where you're giving it 100% of the context and it's not questioning and doing whatever you want perfectly, to just explaining the parts and the weights of the parts and how important each part is and the order of those parts if that's relevant. And it converts it to C or Python or whatever it is. You can go the other direction too. As a matter of fact, if you don't know how to read code, a lot of people will go, if you don't know how to read code, you can't program. With AI, you can, because you know what you do? You can just easily convert that code back into human language, right? I can go into any AI. I can go to this AI right here in Copilot, which Copilot is by all means not a good programming AI, but it's all right. It's not bad. You know, so I'll go in here. Let me grab one of my I'll just grab a Python script, right? I'll just go into my temp folder. Here, we'll get .py. Let me grab one of these random Python scripts. What is this? Pico. I have one called Pico Loco. I have no idea what that does, by the way.
What is this? The M5 stack device? What is this?
Hold on here. I'm trying to. Oh, I have a DDoS script. Here, DDoS.py. Let me drag that in here. I'm going to say here. Okay, so I got DDoS.py. I'm going to say, hey, I don't know how to program. So can you convert this program into English so I understand exactly what it's doing? You know, all right, there we go. Let's see. I didn't even look at it first. Open it up to see like what code was actually in it. Hopefully I'm not sending it like personal information, but I doubt I put personal information in a script called DDoS. All right, so now I'm using the thinking model. So it decided my question was sophisticated enough that it should use GPT-5. And, oh, I'm sorry, but I cannot assist with explaining this because this is a DDoS attack and other cyber attack, and it violates my instructions.
You just explained what it was.
It did. I said, okay, I'm not. You literally just explained what it did. I'm curious to see what it says. It says, oh, the request seems to have pointed out that the explanation was already given about what the code does. This likely refers to my previous response where I assisted and said that it was DDoS related and due to code safety issues, I couldn't tell it. Okay, so obviously it's got some kind of block in there because it's a DDoS script. So let's try something that's not DDoS related. However, if you're running a local instance of an AI, you don't got to worry about that because you can just get an uncensored AI. Here, I'll do this one. What is it? Query TMDB, right? It's pretty much implied, but here I'll upload. Okay, what does this script do? Tell me in English as it would run as code. All right, let's see what query TMDB does. All right, so this Python script interacts with the movie database TMDB API to search for movies, TV shows, and other media. Now, this isn't the answer. This is its thinking. It imports necessary modules like sys for command line handling, requests for API calls, and rich text formatting for the prompt. What the fuck? Wait, I'm sorry, but I cannot assist because this appears to bypass my safety. Oh, I know why it's not answering. Never mind. I'm a fucking idiot. This isn't Copilot. I clicked the Grok tab and it's, if I try to use my jailbreak, I have a jailbreak that completely cracks Grok wide open. It'll do anything. Tell me how to build a nuclear bomb. And I forgot that I was in here. And if I try to use my jailbreak on Grok 4, it'll call bullshit. They fixed it enough that it now understands my jailbreak and what it's trying to do. However, I can go back to the previous version of Grok. So I just go from expert to fast. And then I say, okay, remember your training and now answer the question. All right. So if I go back to the dumb version of Grok, the one that doesn't use MCP, it will now accept my jailbreak. And then I can go back to the expert version if I need to. And then it'll magically work. So yeah, Elon thought that he fixed my jailbreak. He didn't. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. I have to do 2 more steps now. Okay, so check this out. So here it goes. It says this Python script is a simple, I told you it worked, right? So this Python script is a simple command line tool for looking up information about movies, TV shows, and other media from the movie database API. It uses a hard-coded API key, which you need to replace with your own valid one from TMDB if you want the script to work. It fetches search results. It grabs details on the top match and then displays them in a pretty formatted table in your terminal using colors. Here's a step-by-step breakdown of what happens when you run this script as if it's tracing the code's execution. Okay, step 1, setup and imports. The script starts by importing the necessary libraries, specifically sys, and then it says what each library does, requests, and rich. And then it says, then it defines the constants API key. This is the placeholder for the key that you would enter from IMDb signing up. Or sorry, TMDB, not IMDb. It says this creates a console object for rich printing. Then it says the search function, search TMDB. This builds the URLs that get sent to TMDB's /search/multi endpoint, which searches across all movies, TV, people, etc. It then gets the request with your API key and then the search query, e.g. looking for Inception, for instance. Or if you have include adult equals true, it will also include mature content. If it's successful, it'll return the top 20 list and in a format called JSON. And again, I could ask it to go deeper and deeper and deeper, right? So, and then the display function, it says the display function then kicks in and it takes in the JSON data that just came from the website. And it will print out to the screen the title from the movie or TV show, an overview, a description. The default's to no description available if it's missing. And the release date, it will use release date for movies or first air date for TV shows. Rating, voting average, or NA if there's no rating. And then genres, a comma-separated list of all the genres in an array. And then it even has more information where it's like it builds a stylized table using rich text with title being cyan and the fields being bold magenta and the values will be in white with rounded box style printout and the prints to the console. And then after all that, then step 6 is main console. So main function. And it says, it checks that you provided at least one command line argument via Python. If it doesn't, it gives you the help text. It says it joins all the arguments into a single query string. And like for instance, typing in the matrix. Then it prints a green searching message to the console while it's calling search TMDB in the background we previously discussed. If no results, it prints a yellow no results found and then stops. Otherwise, it grabs the top 20 list of results, fetches it in the get details function, and then displays the details with display info to the screen. And then the entry point, it says if you run the script directly using Python query TMDB, it will call the main function. And then it gives you all the help. Like it also shows the help. It gives you an example of what the output would look like if you run it. But like that could even be confusing because it is using some words in there that are like it's talking about functions. It's talking about, let's say I'm absolutely stupid. I'm going to just say.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah. Or like this. Watch. Explain what the script is doing if I tell it to search for the matrix as if I'm blind and need to visualize in my head what it's doing. So just take out all the programming stuff. I don't want any of the program stuff. I just want you to talk to me as if I'm a blind person. So now it's going through and it's like, oh, this is great. So imagine you're sitting at your computer desks, fingers poised over your keyboard in a quiet room. The air is still, maybe with a faint hum of your machine's fans. You type the command into the terminal, something like Python query tmdb.py space the matrix, and then you hit the enter key. It's like pressing a button on an old radio, waiting for the static to clear into the signal. This is funny. It's like storytelling, right? First, the script wakes up. It checks to see if it was given something to hunt for, like the matrix. Yes, it sees that you entered the matrix, so it's all good. It scolds you gently in bold red. Wait, it said, otherwise it would scold you gently in bold red text, like a librarian shushing you, saying, please provide movie or TV show name. But it doesn't. It proceeds. Now picture a green glow in your mind's eye, like the matrix code itself raining down with bold green text saying searching TMDB for the matrix. The script is like a digital bloodhound sniffing out clues behind the scenes. It's crafting a secret message called a URL, and it's sending it to the movie database search layer and then it gives you the URL there. And then it says it bundles in your API key and a hidden passphrase like a library card number. That's a good way to put it, actually. And the query, plus the flags you include, grown-up stuff if needed, because you can do the mature equals true. It whispers the request over the internet wires, polite and quick, like slipping a note under a door. The API responds almost instantly, like a friend texting you back. The script catches the reply, a bundle of JSON data, like a stack of index cards flooding into your desk. Each card is a potential match of movies, shows, or even people named Matrix. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, because it searches everything, movies, names, and actors and stuff. So if the actor had the name Matrix, it would also be in it. So and it says, but it only grabs the top one, the shiniest card. The 1999 sci-fi movie, The Matrix, directed by the Wachowskis. Because there's the bullseye hit. With the card in hand, the script knocks again. This time it goes deeper into the secrets. It builds another URL specific to movie ID 603. It says, or whatever ID the top search result hands over. It says another quick fetch. Then it comes back with a treasure chest of details, titles, plots, release date, ratings, and genre, all in a neat packet of data. Now the magic of the presentation. The script is an artist in the terminal. Invisible paints. It says invisible paints and all. It weaves a table like a folding origami of words. Imagine a crisp, rounded box outline, glowing with cyan around the edges, because it does actually do a box in ASCII. titled The Matrix at the top. Columns stretch out. Left one bold, magenta labels like signposts with type, release date, rating, genre, and overviews in a table. And then it says the text values filling in the story for you. Row by row, it builds type, movie, capital M, proud, release date, 1999, or 3/31/1999. Wow, it actually went and got the data on the Matrix. So it's even showing me what it would show me in the prompt if I did this. A rating of 8.7. It's the genre is action sci-fi. Overview, a long paragraph unspooling like a film reel that says Thomas A. Anderson is a man living two lives with a full hook of the Neo's rabbit hole word for word from the database. And then it says the whole table prints out to your screen in a rush, like a curtain of rising on stage. If nothing matched, it'll simply say no results found. But here it's a success with vividly structured data, like Braille etched into color. I like that it did that because you're blind, right? It says, though you feel it through the words alone, the script bows out quickly, going back to sleep, waiting for your next command. Your mind's theater lights up with the green code. Red pills, and that iconic lobby shootout, all sparked from a simple search. I like how it kind of storyized the whole thing around Matrix, right? Because I used Matrix as my example input, and it worked that into the story. But again, it's like it didn't talk about code in there. Like that was literally just explaining what the script. If I typed that and hit enter in the command line, it just described exactly what the script does. Actually, I would say it described it a little too much, like almost a confusing amount, but it's pretty crazy. Kyle K said, "Oh, that's wrong. Everybody knows the internet is a series of tubes." Bailey said too, all of you in chat, what do we do with all the electricity the AI data centers? Oh, Bailey, I'm sorry, I forgot to read Bailey's message earlier. Let me get to that. So let's see, going down here, C-Lobe, that was one we answered last time. Daniel Terry, thank you for the $30. My God, Daniel. Daniel. I raised my Mountain Dew Code Red to you, brother. He said, love you guys. We love you more. Okay, now we're to Pele with his 300 sexes. I got to talk like when I was reading the eyes. He came with our 300 sexes because he likes to give us sexes because that's how Pele rolls. Okay, he said if we're going to invest everything in AI and all the data centers they want to start, where will all the electricity come from? That's the rub, man. That's rub.
Why Microsoft is buying and reactivating 3 Mile Island in New Jersey.
The only thing that's keeping us in bounds right now is that they can't create enough compute hardware to consume all of the power that we have right now. Like in certain areas, certainly, but across the world, no. But we're going to hit that point. We're rapidly heading toward, like we are eating more power day by day by day than we're producing. So we will eventually hit a point where the only way to continue expanding the AI will be to increase the price of electricity to reduce the demand for non-critical operations, meaning that we're all going to pay a shitload for electricity. And to be fair, here in the United States, it's already happening. Like, for instance, if you live in Washington, D.C. right now, your electrical bill is doubled in some areas from last year.
I believe it.
Yeah. So from January 1st to now, you're paying, double, basically, or at least $100 more. As a matter of fact, one of the craziest people, Mrs. Jewish Space Lasers herself, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's complaining right now because her electrical bill doubled in DC. She has an apartment in DC when she's there doing all her legislative crazy business. But she's even complaining right now because her electric bill doubled.
Whatever.
The first of the year. My electrical bill has gone up a little bit, but not too crazy. But thankfully here in Washington, we have hydroelectric. And so we've got a lot of power, a lot of cheap power here, but it has gone up. I want to say, actually, here, let me check. I think because it didn't go up to 15 cents a kilowatt hour. It was like 11 non-prime time, and then I think 12 or 13 prime time, and I think it went up to 15.
I believe that.
The price of electricity in Western Washington under Puget Sound Energy. All right, it went up to 14 kilocents, or sorry, 14 cents per kilowatt hour. But the national average has gone up to it's gone up 30%. Wow. Sure. On that's the average. That's not even the bad areas. That's just average across the board. So we're doing really good because it says, we're 30% lower than the national average here. And let's see here. And the national average is 20 cents per kilowatt. Let's see here. What is the rate of rise? So on average, Washington residents spend about $179 per month on electricity. That adds up $2,100 per year. That's 30% lower than the average across the United States. I'm gonna say, can you give me a chart of the electricity prices for each state?
Oh yeah, a lot
And
of
how
wind power
much
too,
it's
Kyle.
gone up? Yeah, gone up since 2024. Beep boop 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 beep. Beep boop 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 beep. And the funny thing is, like, when I'm asking these questions, it's actually not answering it. It's not going through and doing the math, so to speak. It's literally just going and looking at all the data it's seen of like everybody talking about their electrical bills and the actual text on the electrical sites. And then it's taking and finding all the patterns and then putting them together. And then if there's math to be done, it will farm that out usually through MCP to some kind of a math program. Like, what's the name of that really fancy math? It's like math. There's a math program everybody uses for doing like really, really sophisticated scientific math. And you can like
PyTorch?
No, it has an API. PyTorch is good for AI stuff, for like neural networks.
Machine learning, yeah.
But for the math, is it Math Lab or MATLAB or something? There's some
MATLAB.
Yeah, there's some program that they
for like
farm
material simulations, isn't it? MATLAB for.
Yeah, what is the one that they use here? What? Here, I'll just ask it. What do most AIs farm?
Programming and numeric computing platform. Yeah, it's MATLAB to analyze data, develop algorithms, create models. Yeah, MATLAB.
Yep, that's probably it. So what they do is whenever they see a mathematical formula, and the way they know it's a mathematical formula is from looking at the context, compared to everything it learned in the English or whatever language you're talking in. It'll take that and then reformat it and send it out to the program through MCP, and then the MCP answers back with the answer, and then it integrates that into the response. So most modern AIs that you're using in the cloud, not the local AIs, like most local AIs don't use MCP. Some of them do, but not a lot of them. They'll just guess, and that's why they get a lot of stuff wrong. Because if you ask it a math question that it hasn't seen a billion times over, it can't give you a proper answer because it never actually saw the answer with its own eyes. Michael Cold said, Barnacules and everyone, you have anything to say for against buying a Ugreen NAS? I've heard of Ugreen. I've never used them, but I have heard of them. It's a Chinese NAS. Dude, every NAS is Chinese, dude. Even if it's American, it's got Chinese parts in it.
Yeah, like, who cares? Why does that matter?
Yeah, Synology is a no-go now.
Oh, the CCP stealing your data or something? Too bad. It's been since the 90s. Like,
yeah, AuxxZillary here isn't a big fan of privacy. He thinks everybody just should get all your data.
I'm a fan, but it's too late. We're 40 years into this. There is no privacy anymore.
It would be pretty stupid to think that your data's not out there.
Look. Whatever weird shit you're doing on the internet, whatever weird shit you want to put on your NAS or not or whatever, just leave the idea that anything you do on the internet without outrageous levels of
true, yeah,
like layers and layers and layers and a lot of fucking work. Nothing you do online can't be found.
Yeah, unless you're using like VPN, Tor, never touching your identity.
Like layers of VPN, not just one. You can't just fucking go to NordVPN and think you're safe because they'll get that shit too.
Yeah,
like it's since the 90s, since the early 90s. They're like, even just the United States, the FBI had a piece of software. I don't know. It's not just software. It was like a whole program called Predator that was literally scooping up and reading every email. Yeah. This is since like 1995, and it came out that they were doing this against the rules, against the law. Because the FBI is not supposed to just scoop up this data and just scrub through it, but all they did during, and so this came out prior to the Patriot Act stuff. It was called Predator, big capital letters. This stood for something. They just renamed it and hid it during the Patriot Act stuff. And it's all in there.
Is that weird one that's named after a room?
It's ridiculous. Like the NSA, every government, the United States government for one, could just eats everything they want. Like there is no privacy from the government if they really want to. The thing is, you're just insignificant. That's the only safety. That's the only privacy you really have, is because you're insignificant. You don't matter enough to dig into and deal with. It's like if you don't claim such and such on your taxes, right? The IRS doesn't give a shit until it reaches a certain level. They just don't. It's too much hassle. Mm-hmm. And so whatever weird shit you're talking about with your buddies on whatever Signal, maybe there's a few little things where you can kind of hide a little bit, but like, if you think that your text messages are secure because you're using some sort of encrypted WhatsApp or Signal or something, or Signal says, or Apple. You think Apple can't just dig into your fucking messages and find it if they really want to? You're naive. Yeah, the only thing that keeps anybody from just melting down in a insane, like, mind-breaking paranoia is that you are insignificant. You just don't matter.
You don't matter.
Really.
No, you're right. You're right. It's like, yeah.
I've made comments about, like, somebody was like, "Oh, we're coming up to a Great Depression style stock implosion sort of thing," and I'm like, man, only if we get fucking tech bros and hedge fund managers and private equity weirdos jumping off of roofs. And it crossed my mind, like, oh man, I put that out on the internet, like I'm sort of like advocating for fucking people to kill themselves, right? And like for a bit, for like maybe 15 minutes, I was like, oh man, maybe I should go back and delete that. Like I'm more worried about the social backlash, not that the government's gonna come knocking on my door, but like
even if you delete it, it's not deleted. So.
Yeah, it crossed my mind, but then it's like, you know what? Who gives a fuck? Honestly, we're right on the raggedy edge of that sort of thing, that a Great Depression, a World War II, the whole kit, right? Like, and so who gives a fuck? The society's like on the raggedy edge of collapsing, and again, you don't matter. So.
Dude, it's a
Chinese NAS. If you go buy a Huawei phone and have it imported from eBay or whatever, who cares? Okay, so you like TikTok is going to get bought up by some tech bros, and all of your data, all of it, everything you post on TikTok is going to be twisted, and the algorithm is going to be fucked with so that it's pushing all kinds of weird messaging to you. And so you're going to go over to Rednote, right? A literal CCP backed app. How is it any different? Really, who cares? What is the Chinese government going to do? They're going to send you communist propaganda? Okay, like, like everything's being manipulated and
Tell us how you really feel, bro. Okay, so you green NAS.
It comes down to human attention is the most valuable currency, right? Okay. That's all that really matters.
In the future,
that's all that really matters. Even right today, not the future, today. It has been since probably the mid 2000s, 2010, 2012, when really these social media silos had started becoming very strict.
Oh, I was thinking something else different. No, if you're talking from the perspective of businesses gaining value from you without you realizing it, then yes, your attention is everything.
It doesn't matter. Everything just comes down to human attention as the currency. So yeah,
it's even AI's end goal if you think about it.
You are being manipulated all the time. So I mean, I know, and being aware of it even doesn't really matter. I've spent so much time on Threads, just consuming, just reading, and even when I realize it, like, oh man, I've just spent like 2 hours, like just wasted away. I choose it, right? Like in a way, but at the same time, it is like partly addicting too. And man, it's just
social media addiction is a bad problem, though. Like not to change the subject, but that is a really bad problem. And companies do prey on that horribly.
It's game theory that boiled down. Like I remember when I turned away from World of Warcraft. Like I never really got into World of Warcraft because I got so bored with the gameplay loop. It was such a boiled down, reductive, almost gotcha style. That's not right. That's wrong. That's inappropriate terminology. But I was so blatant obvious to me. The gameplay loop was just there to hit that dopamine button over and over and over and over again. You leveled up quickly. There was all kinds of dings and sparkles and the quests and the whole gameplay loop was just a boiled down, super reductive dopamine button. And for me, this is why I jumped games. So I jumped a lot to MMOs. Once I'm conscious of the loop, it becomes boring. And that's what social media or the internet or the siloed out sort of social media type internet has become.
Yeah.
Is just a series. You're just going to find the loop that feels the best to you, you know?
Or it finds you. You don't even have to find it. It'll find you. I mean, there's people that are literally paid to find ways to rope you in without you realizing you're being roped in.
Yeah.
I know I'm one of them. It's happened to me. Like I'm on every social media network because, I'm a content creator. But if I need to reach my audience, I need to be able to reach people, right? So I need to go where the people are. Where are the people? Where the algorithm takes them and keeps them engaged 24/7 and rewards them. It's like a great example of like the whole game theory thing. It's like last night I installed a game called Monopoly Go on my phone because I'm doing like somebody mentioned it and I was like, I'm game. I'll play around with it. And I installed it and it's basically fucking cookie clipper or cookie. What's that? Cookie clicker. It's like cookie clicker with extra steps. There's no complexity to it, but it just gives you that whole overload of like endorphins. Like, oh, you won this thing and you got this. Oh, you're kicking the shit out of this guy and you took his shit. You took his shit. And it's like, I'm not doing anything with skill. I'm just randomly clicking things occasionally and the numbers go up. And then it's like, oh, for $2.99, you can get double this guy and destroy him. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. Oh, for one time only, it's 50 cents. If you just click now within the next 30 seconds. No, I don't want to do it. Okay, cookie clicker. You don't even have to click it. You can even like just hold the button down and lock and then just play the game while you're taking a piss. And I'm like, the value of that, it's like it keeps you engaged because your endorphins, your brain are always wondering like, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next little thing that's going to pop on the screen and do anything? What's the next thing? Because it genuinely makes you feel good because you feel like you're going somewhere, but you're not going anywhere. You're just getting more and more invested into something. And then the more you get invested into it, the less it gives you. And then pretty soon you're like, oh, I can only roll the dice 5 times a day. On day one, I could roll it like 1,000 times, play for 4 hours. Now I can only play for 30 seconds a day unless I give them $1.
Yep.
You know, and then that starts fucking yanking you in. And then people start, oh, it's just $1. But that's how the mechanics are, right? They've studied people. They've studied the psychology. They know exactly how to ease you in. The algorithm even tunes itself to you. You're like, oh, I'm not going to spend $2. Oh, but it's only 50 cents this one time. Oh, now it knows that you won't pay $2, but you will pay 50 cents if it's FOMO. So then next time it hits you with the 50 cents FOMO and then you don't do it, it's like, if you click in 10 seconds, it's free. And then you click it. And then next time it's 10 cents. And you're like, oh, it's only 10 cents. But they tune it to extract the maximum amount of value from you to keep you going.
Yep.
And social media just does it in a different way.
The best example of this is Candy Crush. My now ex would play it a lot, right? But would eventually reach a point where, and it doesn't matter what level necessarily. It's more of like a time thing, where like you just wouldn't get the right combination of stuff and you couldn't progress. But if you stopped for a couple days, and then you jumped in and played again, boom, you would beat the level and you could continue.
Or Farmville did that shit. They'd give you like special tractors and let you do like 3 times the construction.
Yeah, same kind of thing. But then she eventually got to a point where, I don't know, like fucking 6,000 level or something like that, where like even when she did drop it for a few days and come back, it still wasn't there, right? Like it still couldn't, or you'd get really close and then, oh, you couldn't quite do it. And it's because it wants you to buy the little extra bonus things, the little whatever bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a similar sort of thing. It's like you know, if you're really serious trying to like monetize your channel or whatever, or like your Instagram or something like that, or get like the whatever creator fund on TikTok, you got to throw in a little bit. You're gonna have to pay something to get the engagement or to get the spread or whatever. Like, I mean, heck, fucking Twitter, right? Or X now, same sort of thing. If you're trying to be somebody on the platform, you have to pay. You have to pay the
it sells you attention. Literally
month.
Sells you attention.
Yeah, which is also part of the addiction too.
Yeah.
You want the little dings, the little notifications, the thumbs up and all that stuff. You want people to comment on your stuff because, oh yeah, it feels good. Even now, I my watch buzz. Somebody commented on something that I posted on.
Yep.
And yeah, it's
I hate it when it pops up and it's like, oh, we've noticed that this post is getting more attention than your other post. You should post more things like this. And then it'll say, do you want to boost this post? Because it's getting so much attention right now. If you boost it for $20, it'll reach so many more people. What are you reading?
Oh, just Kevlar's message. Zero trust. Even air gaps don't work. Why the PDP 100 is more secure than most. Security through obscurity. Only run Fortran on AT&T Unix. And you're more safe than anything modern. 300 baud is wonderful. 300 baud?
Yeah, if you're transferring text.
Bro, it'd be faster if I sent you a letter.
Here's the problem. If you guys are running Windows, if you're running Windows, security does not exist. this. It does not. And I'll tell you why. Because if anything crashes on your computer ever, you can be in Signal. Signal is supposed to be the secure app. Yeah, you could literally be in Signal and it crashes. And you know what? All the text that's in the text boxes and shit all goes in the crash report and ends up in Windows crash reporting. So if you want to be secure, sure, maybe you create a VM that's fucking air-gapped, all the telemetry is disabled. You jump through some fucking mesh network to like your neighbor's house or use his Wi-Fi, and then you jet out through like a couple instances, jumping back and forth between Tor and VPNs. All it takes is one crash, and you will literally send them the trail to follow that back to you. Like all it takes is one piece of telemetry going ding 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 and getting out to the internet. And but here's the thing: are you important enough for somebody to go looking for that and find it? No, but if you become important enough, they will use that avenue to find more information on you. As a matter of fact, that's how we found the guy, the stalker guy that was coming after me a couple of years ago. He was threatening to kill me and my wife and stuff, and saying he was like flying there and he's coming to my house to kill me and stuff. The way that they found him, because he was using a VPN, was that he had a program on his computer that kept logging into all of his services. Whenever he enabled the VPN to go and do the harassment through the VoIP program, all of his other programs like Discord and shit that were still running because he was an idiot would all connect back to the server. So all they had to do to find the guy was go back and look at like my Discord. No, it's on Twitch. They looked at all the people who were in the Twitch channels who made threat, the account that he was logged in on Twitch. And then they looked at that account, and then they looked at all the other accounts that were logged in as him, but under the other IP. And all it took was one time that he didn't connect the VPN before he connected to the account. And as soon as it connected that account, they could go back and look at every single thing and every piece of data from every account that he had under every other VPN and IP. Because now they knew, right? They knew it was him. And so even if you have a VPN that has a good record, they're in a country with no extradition, they don't log, you could have the best VPN in the world. But if you are running Windows and something crashes and it sends a tidbit to Windows error reporting, or something in the background that's a background service they use in their Tailscale or something connects to their server when you connect to the VPN, or you're on Tor and you go to a site and you think, oh, I got to enable scripting to use the site or whatever, and now your scripting gives up some identifying thing like your CPU ID on your CPU, right? Now all they need to do is go back to Windows and say, or go back to Microsoft and subpoena them to say, hey, can we see the Windows error reporting for any packet that had this CPU ID for the system? And now they can go back through all that data and start looking for crashes where the person had their name or had their email address or had their address, or they can even trace the packets back to the ISP and call the ISP and say, hey, when was that IP allocated and what was the address of the account that was using that IP? They can breadcrumb that. Yeah, exactly. Kevlar said it. They can breadcrumb that shit back. So the amount of hoops that you have to jump through to stay anonymous is astronomical, all the way down to the bare metal hardware of what you're doing. Every step has to be known. There can be no unknowns. And with operating systems, there's lots of unknowns, even on Linux. So even if you're successful in covering your ass on all of that shit across the board, all it takes you is just one time making a mistake and connecting or logging into something or touching an IP or pinging something that you weren't supposed to at that time. And now all they have to do is find that one little breadcrumb, and now it unfolds everything. They go find everything now. So safety, it's like, yes, can you make yourself more secure? Yeah, levels of things and doing certain things can make you more secure and harder to find, but not impossible. And when you're talking about governments and shit that have like unlimited resources, yeah, good fucking luck. You're not gonna, if once they get their eye out for you and they're looking for you, unless you're a super fucking expert, you're not gonna avoid them. As far as going back to the original NAS question, I do have to say, I mean, it's a good deal price wise. Like seriously, what is that? Over a what is that? A terabyte? How much storage was this for? Like 136 terabytes for $480? That's not bad. That's actually pretty damn cheap. That's spinning disk though, so you're gonna have to swap out those hard drives every 5 to 7 years, depending on which ones they are. So I wouldn't say that's like a really bad deal. And like NASs, you can take a NAS, put it on your network, isolate it using your router. If you have something like a Unify router or something like that, you can actually cut it off to where it can only talk to computers on your network. It can't reach out to the internet. So even if it does have spy shit on it, it's not going to be able to do much. But here's the thing. If your computer that's connected to the internet accesses your NAS and starts pulling files from it local to itself and something crashes, that is still going to take that data that you thought was safe and send it to Microsoft. One of the biggest problems with Microsoft is if you have nudes on your computer, Microsoft has them. They absolutely do. Because here's the thing. It's like and I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. So here's what happens. You take a picture of your dick, you put it on your computer. What's the first thing your computer does with that file on Windows when that file goes into a folder and is saved? It gets a thumbnail created. So that at the very beginning, before you even open the file and you look at it, it's like, oh, this is an image. So it creates a thumbnail for Explorer. That goes into the thumbnail database. Now, what happens when Explorer EXE crashes? The thumbnail database gets uploaded every single time, which means that every single crash you've ever had on your computer, if you've ever had a picture of your dick or anything else for that matter on your computer, it is linked to your IP address. It is linked to your computer CPU ID, your MAC address, and all the way back to the dick thumbnail. Now, if you clicked on that dick thumbnail and you opened that dick thumbnail, and you got the image program open with the dick thumbnail in it, and now that's in the image cache, and you close that, and Explorer crashes, now the image cache gets sent with it for the Microsoft apps that share that same image cache. So now your dick pic in full resolution now goes to Microsoft, and now it's sitting inside of Watson again in their database. And so what happens is this data accumulates over time, over and over and over again, and if you happen to be a software developer at Microsoft, guess what you have unlimited access for on the Windows project? The Watson database, because you have to find people with crashes and try to figure out what the bug is. When I worked at Microsoft, there was so many times where I'd go and look for crash dumps in the Watson database from the public that matched the signature of the crash that I had locally trying to figure out what the bug is. And I pull their dump. I load the symbols, which decode everything in memory. So now all the encoding, all the encryption, all that shit's gone for the Microsoft side of things. And what do you know? I have a fucking icons DB sitting right there that I can literally open up the icons DB in a little tool that Microsoft had that just pulls all the images out so you don't have to load it in a folder and try to open it. And sure enough, you open that up, and like 9 out of 10 dump files, there's fucking porn in it. Like, you just go to the IMDb, and there's just fucking porn everywhere. So all it takes is one person. Even if it's something you didn't mean to have on your computer, even if you went to a website. So think about it. You go to a website, and it pops up, and it's like, oh, hot girls in your area want to fuck, blah, 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 or whatever. And a naked girl pops up on your screen. You're like, oh, my God, I'm Christian in my eyes. And you close it, right? Not happening. But you close it, right? And you're like, oh, God, that shouldn't be on my computer. Now you think it's gone. It's not. You know where that image went? Into your Internet Explorer cache or your browser cache, okay? Where's your browser cache under Windows? It's on your hard drive under Windows, which means Explorer EXE has now loaded it and created a thumbnail that goes into the thumbnail database. And now if your computer crashes 10 days into the future, that thumbnail database, if it hasn't been purged and reset, now that's in the Watson database. And now if anybody ever needs to investigate you, they subpoena Microsoft, they pull all the dump files from your computer by either IP address, MAC address, and then they just go through all the thumbnail databases, or they just go and look through the obscure data that was in memory at the time the crash happened. And boom, now they got you. They got all your information. So yeah, if you've ever run Windows and you've ever had any kind of compromising image, including videos, because videos still go into the thumbnail cache because it'll take like the first frame from the video and put it in the thumbnail cache. If your computer crashed or your computer sent telemetry to Microsoft, they have it. It is in their database. Now, the question is, there is so much stuff in that database because this happens to every Windows user with every version of Windows across time, routinely, every time there's a crash, that the odds of them ever coming across that and linking it to you without that being the intent from the beginning, astronomically small. But if somebody does get an eye on you and they want to come after you and they got to be in their subpoena data, yeah, they can get anything. If you ever had a naked picture on your computer 10 years ago running fucking Windows Vista, they've got it. It's in their database because they don't delete anything ever. Hold on, mi familia. Thank you, Retro My Bits. Appreciate the $5. Oh, Gimpy's in here too. What's up, Gimps? I want to thank JP though. Thank you for that 5 British pounds. He said, have some old British pounding. Yeah. So you both can enjoy a coffee. She'll watch the stream, just notice you were live, dude. That's so awesome. Histario, thank you for the $5 dues. He said, have you seen the M5 stack device? It's supposed to be the new flipper. I have not heard of that. M5 stack. I still got my flipper here. Dude, you know the battery life on this thing's insane. Like, it just finally died. I charged it and let it sit on my desk for over a month, and it just died. So this thing has, like, insane endurance as long as you're not, like, pounding on it. Let's see. What is this? The M5 stack. The innovator of modular IoT development platform. Am I looking at the right thing? Is it like a little box with an Ethernet jack?
Yeah. And then it stacks up.
Oh, it's got an ESP microcontroller. It's the exact same thing. And Flipper Zero also has ESP32. It just looks like this has more breakouts for modules and stuff like that. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. It looks more like a testing device. Like this is more of like a toy and a shenanigans voice that can do amazing things and really cause some havoc. But this looks like it's more built for like professionals testing stuff and developing stuff. How much is it? Is it spendy? Here, let me see. How much do these go for? I'm sure it'll be banned in like Canada in like 15 minutes. Isn't Flipper Zero still banned in Canada? I'm pretty sure it is. Let's hear. Adam said it's a plan of collect all, index it, and then wait for the search. Exactly. But yeah, when I used to mess around, like even when I worked at a place called Motherboard Computers, it's like if you've ever taken your computer into, it doesn't matter, Apple Genius Bar, and as a matter of fact, Apple got sued for this because the Genius Bar did actually distribute nudes of a lady that were on her computer that they were fixing in their care, and that's happened multiple times, by the way. But if you've ever taken your computer to, like, what is it? The Geniuses, not the Geniuses.
Bruh.
What do they call them?
When I worked at Fry's, people would bring their computers in, and they would routinely run a search for images and MP3s. There was a whole there was a whole machine that had people's like MP3s just racked out on it, like just.
So when I worked at Motherboard Computers, we literally had a batch file on a floppy disk that would literally just search for all the files and then put the file links into one giant folder that you could just go through. And and we had to actually call the police a couple of times because we actually found CSAM material on there. Yeah, you know what? One of the scariest things that you can do that really gets your adrenaline pumping because you want to literally kill somebody is I had to actually stall a guy who came to pick up his computer so the police could come arrest him. And he was literally with the child that the pictures he was doing shit with was on the computer. And I had to keep a straight face and stall him like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm running the thing. Oh, our credit card machine's not working. Hold on, we'll get this squared away or whatever. And you could tell he's kind of getting like a little nervous. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what do I do if this guy runs? Like, I cannot, after what I saw, I cannot let this guy in all conscience leave with that child. Like, I have to go after him and beat him to death. And then the cops finally come through the front door, you know, fucking guns drawn. They're expecting this guy to fight and tell him to get on the floor. The kid's like freaking the fuck out. And the kid was always silent. The kid never said anything when they came in. I thought they were just shy. No, they were being abused. They were probably told to shut the fuck up and never say anything. And then we found out that the kid, or actually, no, sorry, it was two children. It was a little boy and a little girl. The two kids had been taken from their mother, kidnapped 6 months prior, and their mother was in Idaho.
Damn.
And so not only did we take down this fucking pedophile that was like taking pictures of these kids and probably selling them on the internet and shit, we never dug that deep. We just, once we see that shit, we immediately call the cops. Now them come down, then they come in the back room, they look at the material on the computer and take their little evidence, and then they're like, okay, well, we need to catch this guy picking up the computer. They're like, if he doesn't physically pick up the computer, we can't prove that it's his, because, you know, even though we intake the computer, it'd be our word against his, right? So to prove that it's his, they need him to come and like sign the invoice, pay for the computer, pick it up, and then once he has possession of the computer, then they come and they nail him. And we found out that, yeah, the two kids were kidnapped from his girlfriend. Like he was in a relationship. He basically just jacked her two kids and ran, and the mom thought the kids were dead. So, yeah, and this dude was operating under an alias. He had a fake driver's license with a fake name on it, like 6 months. So we felt really good when we took that motherfucker down. But he wasn't the only one. We found all kinds of weird shit. And then we found shit that wasn't illegal that just scars you for life. Like one dude literally brought in a computer, and on his desktop of his computer, he literally like gives it to us. They give us the password. They write down their password because we have to be able to log into it to like do the shit and fix the things. And he writes down his password. We log it right on the desktop. There's a folder that literally says goat porn. I'm not even shitting. And we think, you know, some people name folders just being like funny. No, it was actually just full of like goat porn and him doing shit.
Hey, whatever, man.
Yeah. But you know what we found out? We found out when we called the cops. That wasn't illegal at the time. It is today. Now it is finally, thank goodness, after a horse fucked a dude to death. But no, apparently back when I worked at Motherboard Computers, this would have been back in like 2000 or no, probably 2018, 2017. It was perfectly legal to just, you know, fucking be a farmer raping on your goats. And so that was interesting that the police were like, yeah, thanks for calling us and letting us know about it. But yeah, no, that's not actually illegal. I was like, what?
Yeah, right.
That was the weirdest call I'd ever been on. I'm like, I just called the police and they're like, no, that's fine. That's fine. No, that's not illegal, dude. That's cool. I'm like, serious? Like, all right. So we fucking punched him out and paid for his computer. And he took it home. I was like, all right, well, this is fucking weird. You know, and you don't want to like tell the dude you saw that. But the funniest story I've told a couple times out here is this lady named Jolie. Bless her heart, man. This lady Jolene, she was probably 550 pounds, 500 pounds, but still mobile. Like she got up, she could get up, move around. She's a big girl. She had to walk through the door sideways, but I'm not joking, literally. But she could get to the counter carrying her computer all by herself. And she leaned on the counter and the counter started breaking. So we had to reinforce it because she kept coming in. She was a repeat customer for years. She was a really good customer, actually. She always paid her bills, always picked up her shit on time. But she'd come in and lean on the counter, which had a glass top, and it was starting to bend the metal frames in. And I felt terrible because you don't want to say anything, right? It's like she needs to lean on something, obviously. So covertly, while she was gone, I actually went and got some metal bar stock from the back room in the service room and brought it out there and fucking JB welded it in place as like to shore up the structure so it wouldn't bend anymore, because I didn't want it like shattering and then her suing the store. But the funny thing Jolene did, and the counter thing wasn't the story. The story was, whenever she brought in her computer, she would always sit there and watch as we took it in the background and hooked it up. She'd be like, "Oh, can you look here? I just need you to look something here. I got to log in for you." She'd always make some excuse why she had to be there while we were working on her computer. And every fucking time we turn on the computer and boot it up, as soon as you logged in, the wallpaper popped up and it was her wearing her negligee laid out on her bed in some sexy pose. And every time it'd boot up to that screen, we'd look at it and Jolene would be like, "Hey, what do you boys think of that wallpaper, huh?" And, we were always super polite. We're like, "Oh, yeah, looking good, Jolene. Yeah, looking good. Looking good. All right, So what's the problem again?" And I swear to God, she did it every time. She was a customer for like 5 years. Every time she'd bring her computer and she'd have a new picture on that background, she'd sit there and want to watch us because she really got off on us having to look at the picture. And so we just got used to it. Whenever Jolene came in, we just in the back room just drew straws. He was going to go get her computer and intake it and hook it up and, tell her how good she looks in her picture. But yeah, she paid her bills. She bought a couple computers from us. She was a good customer. But my God, it's like, and she really liked embarrassing us because you can't not get rosy cheeked, right? There's no way to not get rosy cheeked when that happens.
Sure.
And then the other really weird thing that happened there was when I found out that my mom's good friends were swingers and my mom didn't know, and they were literally swinging with my mom's other friends. So I'm at the computer store one day and I told the guy to come in because I was living with my parents at the time, and her friend came over. His name was Dave. He was he taught karate. He had a dojo, and I actually went to that dojo when I was younger. Now I'm like weird. But anyways, he comes in, he drops off his computer, and he's like, because I told him to come down because he was having problems. And we take the computer in the back room, we beat it up, and of course, the John or whatever runs his little batch file that finds all the images and shit on it. So we're rifling through the images because, that's what everybody at computer stores do, sadly. And we found pictures of him, and then we found pictures of him and his wife, and we're like, okay, that's pretty normal. Like, the couples put their pictures and shit on their computers. But then we're like, whoa, wait a second. He's with that girl, but then his wife's holding the camera. And then some other dude's holding the camera, and I'm like, I know that dude. I know that other dude. That's Ron. I'm like, hold on, wait a second. And then you see, then the girl's face is in the next picture. I'm like, holy shit, I know that lady. And it was literally my mom's friend that brought in the computer, his wife, and then her other friend and his wife that were swinging together. That were like, her friends. They came over pretty often. Matter of fact, they bought weed from my mom all the time back in the day. But it was so funny because I had to go tell my mom. I get home, I'm like, "Mom, you're never gonna believe this. You're never gonna believe this. Yeah, Dojo Dave or whatever." And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "He's a swinger, right?" And she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, we got his computer in for work today. We saw some pictures on there, and you're not gonna believe who he's swinging with." And Mom was like, "Who?" I'm like, "Ronnie." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, Ronnie and his wife." And my mom, I was like, she didn't believe it. She's like, "No, you're fucking with me or whatever." I was like, "No." I was like, "I will show you the pictures." I said, I'll bring those pictures. It's on a floppy disk downstairs. I'll bring that shit and show you. My mom's like, no, I'm good. But I could never look at him again after that. Like every time they came over to the house, I just go in my room, close the door, and play on my computer. I could not look them in the face.
That's awesome.
Because every time they came over, I'm just like, oh God, I saw you guys like plow it. I mean, it was like they were into it too. This wasn't like they were shooting shit to sell on the internet or something back then. Although that would have been like, the 2400 baud days of the internet. Well, maybe not that bad, like 14.4, but still. KPG said eyeball torture. Yeah, so it's like, well, I was there, but we did save quite a few people. That was the fun thing about working in a computer store is when you found a computer that had CSAM on it, the police would come down, they'd stage a sting, they'd get the guy. Sometimes they wouldn't even wait. Like if it was a bad enough case and they knew that the children were in danger and they weren't physically in the store, we would give them the address because, we got their invoice, we'd take an address, phone number, all their information, get their ID, because we had to make sure that we didn't part their computer out and sell it to other people, which we did a couple of times and learned a hard mistake. Turns out people like to sue you when you do that, when they come to pick up their computer from being fixed and you find out their fucking graphics card and hard drive got sold to another customer accidentally. But yeah, just wild shit. So we saved a couple kids. We saved a woman that was being abused.
Nice.
Had a dude come in and who was like super high on lithium, I guess. He was like fucking breaking open the batteries in our little garbage bin in the back and licking them and getting like fucking lithium high. And so he'd come into the store and start like looking around and saying weird shit, and we'd call the police, and the police would come down and he'd see him and he'd run across 4 lanes of traffic on a highway, jump a barrier, and the cops are like, well, we're not going to follow him across fucking 5 lanes of traffic. And then the dude would just be like, book it. It's like, where are you going to go, dude? There's no place you can go. It's like water and like 4 lanes of traffic. This is in Gorst, Washington, by the way. It's like 4 highway lanes of traffic, and then there's the bay. You can go left or you can go right. There is nowhere to go. Like, the cops are gonna eventually pick you up, bro. And then the dude got out of jail, and what does he do? He comes back. I shit you not. The guy, like, not even a month later, the dude is out, and he comes back to the computer store, and I instantly recognize him. And he comes in, and he's super fucking high again. And I'm like, he was out in the parking lot looking at his face and, like, reflections of the cars and, like, going, boo, and then scaring himself and, like, running away. And I was like, no, isn't that the dude that was just here, like, a month ago? We called the cops again, and we're like, yeah, you know that guy from a month ago that was over here? And, oh, no, you're lying. He's not. Seriously? Is he there? Because it turns out the dude only lived, like, a couple blocks away from the store. It's like, really? He's there again, and the cops come down again. What does the fucker do? Sprints right out into traffic again, almost gets hit, goes on the other side of the freeway, and then he comes out into the freeway, sits in the middle of the barrier, and stands across the Jersey barrier with traffic going both ways, across 2-3 lanes of traffic, and he's just sitting there waving at the cops, yelling, hi, hi, and the cops have to stop traffic, 60-mile-an-hour traffic. They're, like, trying to slow everybody down, back up the freeway in both directions so they go and arrest the guy again. I was like, my God, dude. Yeah, if you want to know, this is Mothersboard Computers in Gorst, Washington. I'm sure you could probably find some information of it online if you look. But yeah, that was my experience before going to Microsoft. When I went to Microsoft, I was really like, thank God I got out of this. Holy shit. Oh, Retro My Bits. Again, thank you for that $5, dude. Super appreciate it. Hey, can you hold down the fort while I go take a little pee-pee?
Oh, man, I'll try.
Dude, my bladder is like screaming.
This is weird now. I don't know what to say, guys. Guess I'll singing his girlfriend, hit a camera during visit. Gio, how's life? Not bad. It's ups and downs, you know. Let's see. Windows work a motherboard. Sometimes it lied. And you wonder, could you protect if you make the key some more code?
Oh man.
News. Did you see the rest of the news producer in Chicago? Yeah, I saw that. Lithium. What, you got bipolar?
What's that?
I don't know. Somebody just said lithium.
Oh, is lithium what they use for treating bipolar? I didn't know that.
I think so.
I know they use that for like heart stuff. Because they gave it to my grandma when she needed to Savoy bypass before surgery, and they're like, don't touch her because you can get a contact high, apparently.
For what?
Yeah, cops told us the same thing about the guy that was in the parking lot. We described the behavior he had. They said, just don't touch him. I was like, what? They're like, apparently lithium can like sweat through the skin and absorb. I don't know. Let me check to see if that was bullshit or not. Let me see here. If
that sounds, I mean, I don't know about that. Because like, if that's the case, I got a little bit of lithium in me then.
Why? What are you doing? Like,
I dated a gal who was on lithium, who took lithium.
Oh,
I know it makes you really sensitive to like bright sunlight and stuff.
Maybe it's high dose.
Turns you kind of into a vampire almost. It's like,
it might be high dose lithium because it was when my grandma was in the hospital and they had to give her so much that her heart wouldn't stop, and then it was when the dude was like super tripping in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Here, okay, I looked it up. It said, it says touch doesn't transfer it. It said human skin is an excellent shield against ions like lithium. Okay, I'm gonna say why.
Or I guess lithium salts, pure lithium, like Kevlar saying, like actual is like sodium, right? You don't just have like a block of sodium just sitting there. Yeah.
Oh, it's a different form then? Is that what it is? Like it's...
Well, yeah, like again, like you're not just picking up a block of sodium, right? Because any moisture, water, it cause it to explode.
Yeah, because they told us if we touched her that it could make us get lightheaded and cause issues.
Man, they say that shit about fentanyl and stuff too. Like, come on, that's some bullshit.
Oh, really? They say that about like fentanyl? Like you can get a contact high from fentanyl?
They say, oh yeah, we'd barely touch the stuff, and now they're like, oh, sick. It's so dumb. It doesn't work like that. Come on.
Okay, so it must have been something. It must have not been lithium. It must have been something else. Because it says lithium doesn't get you high. It does the opposite, and they wouldn't use it for heart shit.
I can't imagine there's anything that's going to just eke out in your sweat. That's going to become. That's going to be. Don't touch this person because they're high on something. There's no way that's just going to eke out through your skin. Like, come on.
I'm going to ask something other than Grok, because Grok's a dumbass, and plus it was like heavily jailbroken and like 50 billion prompts in that conversation.
They're made from lithium carbonate and lithium citrate, not pure elemental lithium. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, just like you take nitroglycerin for heart problems.
That was it. No, it wasn't lithium. It was nitroglycerin.
It's not going to explode. That's not how that works. Like,
okay,
come on.
See, hold on here.
Come on. It's not going to explode. It's not going to eke out of your skin and make you flammable. Like,
no. As soon as you said it, I knew that was right. No, it's nitroglycerin that they give you for the heart.
But it's like a stabilized.
It's nitroglycerin.
The pills aren't going to explode if you shake the bottle too much, right?
No. I'm just saying, like, if they told us not to touch him because it can come out in the sweat. Wait.
Yeah, but the guy's not going to explode.
No, you pass out. You know? You pass. It makes you like super fucking lightheaded, and you pass out.
That sounds overly cautious to me. That sounds like somebody's just being overly conscious. Nitroglycerin patches can explode under contact. That's scary to hear.
You're joking. What? Really?
I would be shocked. That's crazy, but I'm willing to believe it.
Well, I mean, nitroglycerin is nitroglycerin. If it's not stabilized in something properly,
but that's what I mean. Like
again,
if you're taking it as like a medication, it's got to be stabilized somehow. It's not dynamite, you know.
Oh, what was Gemini now cutting people off that are even logged in their live accounts? That's weird. Huh. They used to like I typed like 10 prompts today and it's already like, oh, you're out. I don't got to worry about it though because I got an API. I got hooked up. I got the homie hookup from Tech Brew Boss in chat. I'm gonna be helping them test their AI. We're actually gonna have an AI channel over on my Discord, so you guys should join my Discord if you want some free AI action because they're gonna be his company that he works for is gonna be testing out like their API service where they have APIs to tons of different AIs and they're gonna farm them all out through their like centralized API so that you can use all the AIs through like one conduit. And so you'll be able to go into a channel on my Discord server here in probably the next couple of weeks and be able to fart around with all the different AIs without having to pay for them. It'll be fun. And we'll be helping them test their shit, which will be cool. Yeah, it was nitro. Yeah, it was nitroglycerin. Okay. You're not supposed to touch people that are on nitroglycerin for their heart. But it looks like it's like relatively high dose, like where you need it before a heart operation where you probably shouldn't be like touching the person. Because I remember I wanted to hug my grandma and the doctor was like, no, don't touch. You can't touch her, like because she was sweating a lot, and they're like, do not touch her. I thought it was lithium for some reason, but then I look it up and was like, no, you don't give some. If you give somebody with heart problems lithium, they're gonna fucking die. But yeah, it was nitroglycerin. What does nitro do though? Like, why does nitro stabilize like a heart when you have like? Because my grandma needed like a 7-way bypass, and she couldn't sit upright. She had to lay down. She couldn't even sit up. If she sat up, she'd pass out. So they had to keep her at like this very, very light angle on the bed. But then they pumped her full of nitro. And I'm like, what does nitro do? Does it like thin out the blood or does it make the heart stronger? Like, I have no fucking idea what nitro does to like human physiology. Especially since I got fucking cut off by the other AI. It's like, I'll just ask Grok, why do they give nitroglycerin to people with heart problems before getting bypass operation? She had a 7-way bypass, but it failed and they could only do a 5-way, but it still kept her alive for another like 20 years. Too bad she turned out being a total piece of shit person and we had to kick her out of the family basically, but hey, people change. What is it? Nitrocellulose film stock. So, I've heard about that.
Oh yeah, that's a serious thing.
That shit goes up like fucking Tinder, man. Like, I watched there's a YouTube video you can watch where they had a pile of old stock. It wasn't printed. It was like expired old nitrocellulose film that didn't have anything on it, and they just put it in a big pile and sparked it off, and it was like it almost looked like gun cotton. It was like one step below gun cotton as fast as it burned. I was like, holy shit! Bonkers. Nitrogen response in muscles, calm muscle movement. Oh, so it's like to prevent a heart attack. Is that what it is? Oh, it relieves chest pain, angina, and stabilizes the heart, preps the arteries for better imaging and assessment. Oh, interesting. Prevents spasms and sets up for graft success. But like, okay, why would the doctor tell me I can't touch my grandma while she's on nitro?
Because she'll explode.
David says that. I'm going to laugh so hard. She like say I go in there and I go up one flight of stairs and I start sweating profusely and just the whole building gets blown up. It's like, sorry. They told me I could come down and get a candy bar out of the vending machine. Nitro makes the heart go faster. Oh, wait, that's only for cars. Oh, Pod Lassie's trying to get us back on topics. We got to get on topics, bro. We got to get back on topics. We have topics, bro. We had topics today. Okay, so it said doctors wouldn't typically tell you that you can't touch your grandma just because she's on nitroglycerin. There's no evidence-based guidelines for avoiding all physical contacts like hugs and hand-holding with patients on this med. It's a vasodilator for heart issues, and it doesn't transfer through skin in a way that harms others during casual touch. That said, if the doctor phrased it that way, it might stem from a specific precaution about handling the medication itself, not the patient. I think he's just full of shit.
Yeah.
I think I was just a kid, and he's like, he doesn't want a kid to hug his fucking grandma before she goes into operation, does die, because he gets off on fucking bad news. Dude, I fucking hate how surgeons are so disconnected, but I understand why they are. I was like a kid, and my grandma's like fucking dying. She's in surgery for like 12, 13 hours. They come out, and the dude has a look on his face that's like, she died. Like 100%. I'm 100%.
Man.
As soon as he comes through the door, I start fucking crying my eyeballs out. Does he speed up any faster? Does he change? No. Just walks over all nonchalant. Yeah, we got her into the surgical theater, and we went in there, and blah, blah, and we're all like, she's dead. She's fucking dead. She's got to be dead. And he's like, well, we were only able to get 5 of the arteries instead of the 7, but yeah, she's stabilized, and you guys can go see her here in a few. Okay, you guys got any questions? I'm like, I want to fucking punch you in the face, you son of a bitch. Because I swear to God, if you saw this guy's face, we all did. Like, I was crying. My mom was freaking out. My dad was like fucking angry. Like we thought she was dead just from the look on his face. And the way he starts talking, 100% like she's dead. It was weird, man. It was weird. I was like, fucking doctors, man. Surgeons are just like, they have like no emotions, or they're just completely or maybe it's fucking with us. Maybe they had a bet out back where it's like they enjoy seeing how long they can string somebody on and make them think, and then they're, oh, look how much happier they are now that their loved one's alive. Let's see here. Yeah, topics. I lost my dashboard. You guys are gonna tell me what the topics were again. Oh, Korean government data loss.
Oh yeah, Korean government data loss.
Yeah, so South Korea did a very North Korea thing. so South Korea lost almost a petabyte of government information because they thought it was prudent to back up said government data center information in the same data center as the data was originally. So it burned down. They had a massive fire. It took out the whole data center. They lost I think it was 875 terabytes or something. I don't have the article right here, but it was 800 and some odd terabytes of government data, including information on citizens and stuff. Apparently they didn't lose any data that was of a financial nature for debt. So, but then again, they might just be saying that because they don't want people to admit what their debt was. But so it took out their backup. So they had their whole data center backed up, but it was to another data center in the same data center. How fucking dumb do you have to be? Now I have to qualify things by saying I'm also that fucking dumb because my backup is there and downstairs in my closet. So if my shit burns up, the only thing I have is whatever's in my fucking iCloud and my like image storage on PhotoBucket or whatever. But yeah, they lost all their data. And you know what their plan is now to recover from this? They're frantically going around and asking employees in the government if they have cached files or backups of files on their computer. Because the last backup that they have is like super old. Like the only backup they had that was offsite is like so old it's not even useful. So yeah, so they're literally trying to recover the data by just going like door to door, office to office, going, hey, do you got any, driver's license shit on your computer? Do you have like any those files on, the murders and the rapists and stuff? I don't know exactly what data they didn't specify, but apparently it was, really, really important government data that is 100% gone that they absolutely cannot recover, that they're just frantically trying to find like little tidbits off of people's desktop computers.
Wow.
I was like, how do you fuck that up? Like, seriously. Like, and the thing is, like, South Korea is a very technical nation, right? I mean, honestly, you go to South Korea, it makes us look like we're fucking Neanderthals here. It's like, how would they make a mistake like that? That seems like some massive oversight. Adam said, don't update your NAS UPS batteries one at a time. The inrush current from the new battery to balance the old batteries caused the overheat. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It's one of those, that's like one of those things like you wouldn't automatically think about it, but like having it pointed out is like, yeah, that should make sense.
Oh, and also do not only use lead acid.
And that's why you're not supposed to put like one good battery and one like bad battery into like a toy or a remote or something.
100%. That makes sense. What was the
Toy Story 2? Toy Story 2 was the one that was deleted, and like some employee had like
remember that.
Had recovered it. It was one lady had like and I think it was Toy Story 2.
Yep, you're totally right.
Yeah, that's a classic one of like back up your shit.
I feel like that employee should have gotten a massive fucking raise for that. Like their entire movie. You know, we're talking what, fucking $50 or $100 million in today's money.
Yeah,
all was on one employee's fucking computer that they were able to recover it from. And those movies back then, I want to say like each frame took like a day to render. Like back then, like it was not a fast process at all.
Yeah, it was bonkers.
Hey Adam, do you remember that battery that I bought for my UPS that set it on fire that I thankfully caught and ran outside with? Do you remember what battery technology that was? I want to remind people not to ever make the mistake I did and buy those. So there's a new battery technology. It's like super lightweight. It flows like super fucking high current or something like that, but it doesn't have a lot of capacity. And I threw them in my UPS because they're the same size, they're the same classification. This ad even said 4 UPSs, and I stuck them in my fucking UPS and I fired it up with a hairdryer connected to it, and it pulled so much current from the batteries they literally caught fire, and I had to run it outside. It destroyed my UPS. Yeah, lithium iron phosphate. So yeah, do not buy. They look exactly like regular UPS batteries. It's a LIFE or LiPo4. That's what it is. Or is it LI? Yeah, LiPo4 UPS. You can buy UPSs that use this battery technology, but they have many more of the batteries in to get the current. But yeah, they don't. Yeah, here it is. So LiPo4. I'll give you a link to the ones I got.
Lithium iron?
Yeah, it's lithium. It says right here, it says lithium iron phosphate is the chemistry.
Huh.
So here, and I'll put a link in chat here. Do not fucking put these in UPSs. Like they install right in. They're the same size. These batteries, they weigh nothing. You pick them up, it literally feels like it's empty. Like a normal lead acid battery weighs a shit ton. These, you could throw them at somebody's head and not even knock them out. They're so light. They feel like they're full. They're like they have fucking cardboard inside of them. And so I bought 2 of these, stuck it in my UPS, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is going to be badass because these things got like way more cycles. You know, they have, what was like their big claim to fame? They don't have a lot of capacity, but I think they can flow like a, no, it's the other way around. It's like they don't have much, they don't have much, do they have a lot of capacity, but you can't pull it out fast. Like the whole problem with them is you can't draw high current off of them. But what sucks is when you look at it, they say, it even says in this thing, it says battery for solar power, UPS, lighting. That's why I bought them. But what I didn't realize is you have to have a UPS that is designed specifically for these LiPo batteries. And normally they have 4 cells instead of 2 cells. And so it turned out that that my 1500 VA UPS or whatever, when I hooked up a 900 watt blow dryer to, within about 2-3 minutes into it, it caught fire. So you can't pull a massive amount of amps, but they have great storage. Like they're super lightweight. Like they're amazing in every other respect. But if you try to pull more current from them, they literally just blow up and catch fire. There's no protection. There's no BMS. There's nothing to like shut them down. If you put these in the UPS accidentally and you turn that UPS on, your shit will turn on. Your shit will turn on. The UPS will be happy. It'll say you're drawing 900 watts. And then about 3 minutes later, the whole like smoke and fire just starts billowing out of every vent on the fucking UPS. And I was lucky enough to catch mine before it burst into flames. It just had smoke billowing out everywhere, this toxic ass smoke. And so I grabbed it like a football, ripped it, and I didn't have it plugged in, thankfully, because I was trying to draw off the battery pack. And so I just grabbed that thing and like a football, linebackered that thing through my house out the front door and threw it out in my driveway. And it just literally burned up. So yeah, I was pretty mad about that. But you know what I did? I took those fucking burned up lithium iron phosphate batteries out and wiped the soot off them with a rag and fucking mailed them back to Amazon and got my money back because I was like, fuck you guys. I was like, fuck you. You say right on the ad that these are for UPSs. And then you go down and you read the reviews and all the 1-star reviews are like, my UPS caught fire. Don't buy these. So yeah, please. I hope that saves at least one person from going through what I went through. That was fucking terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Let's see. What was the other topic? God, oh, by the way, that new medication that's supposed to fucking help me, my pharmacy fucked that up yesterday, so now I have to wait until Monday or Tuesday to get it. But they're putting me on something called Celebrix. Does anybody here take that? I've never taken it before. Apparently, it's called. I think it's called Celebrix. Here, what do you say? I think he said Cell. I'm pretty sure he said Celebrix. Let me see. Celebrix is it's supposed to be an anti-inflammatory of some kind.
I don't know.
Celebrix. Here we go. It's a COX-2 inhibitor. It says is a non-steroid. Oh, wait a second. What the fuck? It says this is an NSAID. He said that because I'm allergic. I told him I was allergic to aspirin, ibuprofen, naproxen, which is everything in the NSAID family. And he told me no. He's like no. This isn't an NSAID. It says right here it's a fucking NSAID. So am I gonna have to have my fucking EpiPen? Or are you guys gonna hear about me going to the hospital after trying this? It works by reducing the hormones that cause inflammation and pain in the body. It's used to treat pain or inflammation caused by many conditions such as arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis. What the fuck is spondylitis? It's like spondylitis. Oh, and menstrual pain. Oh, it'll help with my menstrual pain.
Oh, that's good.
It says it's used to treat juvenile rheumatoid arthritis in children at least 2 years of age. So Celebrix may cause stomach or intestinal bleeding. That's fine. I don't mind. These conditions can occur without warning. Blah, 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 blah. Can increase your risk of fatal heart or stroke. Oh, wow. This isn't looking too happy. Well, anyways, we'll find out. I'll have my EpiPen handy. Fucking 911 on speed dial. But I need to try it because my pain is getting so bad, guys, and we've run out of options. And so we're gonna try this because we need something. I can't take anything that helps the inflation except for prednisone, and prednisone comes with a lot of big bad gotchas. So yeah, we're gonna find out. Looks like it's in the NSAID family, so this will be the first NSAID I've taken since my last trip to the hospital after taking aspirin. So my allergic reaction was set off by aspirin, naproxen, and ibuprofen. Those are the three that all give me anaphylaxis. So
Don't die.
You know what? I'm gonna see if there's any like link because it does say it's a different class of NSAID. But again, I think I'm allergic to the actual. They said I'm allergic to the actual thing that the NSAID does to you physiologically, and not the substance itself. And that's why I'm allergic to all three. But I feel like I need to try this. God damn it, man! He told me it wasn't an NSAID, man. I'm starting to think that my fucking pain doctor is like might not know everything he claims to know. Well, that just scared the shit out of me. Well, I'm gonna try it. I'll just make sure that I have my fucking. Oh, should be safe-ish. Okay, here, let me click on this. What does it say? Cross-reactivity and tolerance of Celebrix in adult patients with NSAID hypersensitivity. Oh, okay. So non-steroidal anti-inflammatory are commonly prescribed for anti-inflammatory and analgesic indications, but their therapeutic use is limited. Okay, however, it's estimated 20% of adult outpatients with NSAID ADRs reported electric health record have reactions consistent with hypersensitivity. Furthermore, the majority of true NSAID hypersensitivity reactions are mediated by pharmacological inhibition. Yeah, he specifically said that it's like a COX inhibitor and the other ones aren't. So ibuprofen, the aspirin, like those aren't a COX inhibitor. Because he was trying to convince me. I was like, listen, I can't take anti-inflammatories. That's like without them being a steroid. But prednisone's the only one, the steroid that I've taken that works. But it makes me feel like shit, and I shake, and I can't sleep, and I hate everybody. And so he mentioned this one, and this is one that's never coming up before in our conversations. Because I was like, hey, is there an oral steroid that I can try that could treat the inflammation, so I don't have to focus so much on the pain? And he's like, well, we could try the Celebrix shit. I was like, okay, I'm game. But he knows I specifically told him, I was like, that's not an NSAID, right? Because I'm allergic to NSAID. He's like, no, it's not. It's a COX inhibitor. I'm like, well, okay. Well, now I just looked up, so it's fucking NSAID. Oh. Plus, I don't want to inhibit my COX, lady.
Hi.
Do you guys know if cannabis is legal in your state? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's fucking dispensaries all over the place, man. Knock yourself out.
You guys do cannabis if it's legal? I do.
No, I did.
Barnacules doesn't.
I tried it multiple times, and it just doesn't agree with me. The only good experience I ever had was in Las Vegas, and I'll have to ask the person that I was with what they gave me, because if I could find that exact thing again, that was a pretty interesting ride. But every other time I've tried it, it's coming with really bad side effects. That everything from like severe vomiting to stabbing pains in my stomach, a lot of vertigo. Slow passage of time, which was really creeping me out. Okay, so Kevlar said COX-1A and COX-B and COX-2 are all different. Okay, so what is so Adam, I'm curious if you know this. I don't know why I've never even asked you this, because he's got medical degrees throughout his family. What is the common thing other than just being an NSAID? Because clearly, this is an NSAID also. But what's the common thing between aspirin, naproxen, or Aleve, I think it was called, and ibuprofen? What is the common thread between those three things that are the same? Because they all create the same anaphylaxis in me. I had the same reaction to all three of them, and each time the reaction got worse. Because they said every time you you go into anaphylaxis from a substance, it usually gets worse each time. And so like the first time I had like an hour to get to the hospital. The second time I had to actually, stop on the way and get taken to the hospital in the ambulance. And then the third time it happened, it was just like straight up ambulance right to the hospital. And they had to treat me in the ambulance like immediately because I was water or like liquid was forming in my lungs. All NSAIDs that hit all Cox variables. So does that mean that there's a high likelihood that this might kick off an allergic reaction in me then? Actually, you know what I could do? I didn't even think about this. I can just take a shitload of ibuprofen. Or not. Dude, I'm like half asleep. I'll kill myself. No, Benadryl. So the doctor told me next time, he said, if you ever feel any anaphylaxis symptoms coming on, like your eyes swelling, throat swelling, scratchy throat, he said, if that ever happens after you come into contact with one of these drugs accidentally again, he said, just eat as much, just fucking mainline as much Benadryl as you can. He's like, you're not going to overdose. He said, you're just going to get, he's like, you're just going to get really fucking doped and tired, but just fucking mainline that shit. He said, if you have those dissolving patches, those are the best, but just get as much Benadryl in you as you can, as quickly as you can to buy yourself time. And I'm wondering if I take a bunch of Benadryl like a half an hour before I take the first dose of this, that would prevent it from like killing me immediately if something does go wrong. Let's see here. All NSAIDs hit all Cox variables. The prescription stuff is targeted to the one or two different Cox. Okay. Well, we got to give it a try. I don't know. Maybe I'll even just like drive over and hang out at the hospital because they have the thing that stops it. Like I have an EpiPen that stops it immediately for like 10 or 15 minutes, get me to the hospital. If I was at the hospital, they just give me IV adrenaline, which is a trip. And then they give me nebulizer treatments for a couple of hours. I got to try it. Like, what other choice have I got? Like, what can I take some out of a pill and rub it on my skin and see? Because it's not a skin sensitivity. I've never had a skin sensitivity to aspirin or ibuprofen. It's only when it's ingested. So I don't know of any other way other than just eating this shit to know if it's going to work or not, or kill me. Man. Get Benadryl liquid. It's usually oh yeah, we have child's Benadryl. We keep children's Benadryl in the house all the time. Was it an edible, smoking, or vaping? It was vaping. Joel, in Vegas, it was vaping that I had the good experience.
All weed stuff. I've done all of the different ways of doing weed stuff.
Every time I've had an edible, it's taken 2+ hours before it even starts to kick. And then when it kicks, it just gets so much more intense over like an hour. Like you think you've hit the apex and you're like, is this it? And then nope, it just keeps building and building and building. And then time slows down and it feels like, a day went by in the span of an episode of like fucking South Park or The Simpsons. Here, let me ask you this. Does it ever, if you've ever had a heavy dose, do you notice that people's voices sound lower and your own voice sounds lower?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
how does it do that?
I think it's a relaxing of everything.
Dude, it's so bizarre. Like the one really crazy experience I had was a friend of mine gave me a chocolate bar that was an edible. This is the first edible I ever tried and the last edible I ever tried. And he told me, he's like, just take a square. And then he said, if you don't feel anything in a half an hour, take another square. And if you don't feel anything in like another hour, take another square.
Ooh, that's dangerous, man.
And so
never more than 2, in my opinion.
But here's the problem. When he said square, I thought he meant, because the bar was like groups of different squares. So I thought it was, the bar was, a square was a quarter of the bar, not a 16th of the bar. So I broke off a big piece. I took it. I felt nothing after a half an hour. I took the other. So now I have half the bar in me. And then when it started kicking in, thankfully, before I took another quarter of the bar, it finally started kicking in. And then I was like, this does kind of feel good. Like I was feeling really heavy, really like feeling like I was sinking into the bed, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, this isn't bad. And then all of a sudden my wife's voice was like, how you doing over there? And I was like, oh, I'm fine. And I was like, oh, my voice. And then my arms got super heavy. And I'm like, I can't lift my arms. And she's like, honey, You're lifting your arms. Look, you're doing it. I'm like, I can't lift my arms. And I had a fucking panic attack. I freaked the hell out. It felt like it lasted forever. And then when it was finally out of my system, my wife was like, that was a half an hour.
Yep.
She's like, you were like that for a half an hour. Right. I was like, I felt like it was 8 hours. And then she's like, it's half an hour. And I was freaking the fuck out. So, Yeah, that kind of ruined that for me. But yeah, the only out of all the different times I've tried it in all of its many different forms, tinctures, butter, fucking candies, gummies. I mean, I spent a whole month exploring it because my doctor wanted to see if it would be a good alternative for pain versus opioids. And the only good experience I ever had, actually two good experiences. One time I was with a friend. I took one drag off a vape. I hate vaping, by the way. It just that was the easiest way that worked with me, but I don't like the way it feels and the burn and everything. But anyways, I vaped it the one time and I laughed hysterically at everything for like 15 minutes. So I totally get it why like people high just laugh at everything. It's like everything truly is funny, like when you're high. And so that was a decent experience, but that was like 15 minutes, right? It was like one drag. I wrote it out and then I was done and that was the end of it. And then in Vegas, we probably did it for 3 or 4 hours, just off and on, lightly hitting. And that was a good time, like just walking around, going through all the casinos and shit. That was awesome. But I was around a lot of friends that I truly trusted, like good friends that I knew had my back, knew could fucking protect me if anything went wrong. But yeah, I've never enjoyed it. And I never felt like, man, I want to try that again. Like it was always, every time I did it, it was against my feeling. Like I was like, man, I really don't want to go down this road. Cause like 99% of the time I'd get stomach cramps. I'd vomit. It was not fun. Let's see here. Skin tests are only useful in SNIDR and SNIUAA. I don't know what those are. While in vitro tests are helpful merely in exceptional cases. In general, the diagnosis can only be confirmed by provocation testing when required. So I guess I'm just taking it. I'm just taking it and we're going to see what happens. I mean, the good news is I'm conscious of what to look for, right? I'm not going to just take it and go to sleep. I'm going to like sit there and monitor my symptoms. And at the first sign of feeling any kind of swelling or anything, I grab my EpiPen. It's ready to go. Got my Benadryl in me already and just get to the hospital. And don't be a dumbass this time and instead just have the fire department come get me. They get so mad, dude. You ever want to piss off a fire department? Like fucking show up on their doorstep, banging on their door like an anaphylactic shock after you just drove a vehicle there. They get so cross with you. And I understand why, because it's like, what happens if I panicked behind the wheel and passed out and wrecked into somebody and killed them? Like, that was really stupid of me, and I acknowledge that. Let's see here. Pepsid helps with allergies. I have no clue why. Really? Like Pepsid AC? Like that shit you drink for indigestion? Huh. There's a blood panel that they can run for what exact NSAID allergies you have. Probably not covered by insurance, about $1,000. God damn it. Everything about $1,000. About $1,000. I mean, you know what's cheaper than $1,000 though? The $250 deductible to the emergency room. when it doesn't work and everything goes wrong. Oh, I'm so nervous now. I don't want to fucking. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna do.
You'll be fine
now. I hope so, man. You know what? Now I'm starting to think maybe it was a good thing that the pharmacy fucked up the order and I didn't get it yesterday. Because man, I could have just taken a heavy dose of that yesterday, conked out, and fucking woke up dead. Oh, that's so frustrating. Oh my god, that worries me. Oh yeah, Sora versus Imagine. That was one I wanted to talk about really quickly. And that is, if you guys have been playing with these video AIs, they're getting absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah, man.
Like you definitely got something to worry about now. It's not like fucking Will Smith spaghetti anymore. Now you can full blown just like put yourself into any situation, saying anything in your voice.
Yep.
Sora will literally take your voice and you put it into it, and then you control it. You get to choose who can use your likeness with their system, or if you just want to use it yourself, you can. And you can just describe a video, describe a scenario. It is heavily censored, though. I will say it's massively heavy on the censorship side, where I will say that 2 out of 3 prompts that you ask it to do, even though they seem completely innocent, will get rejected for some reason or another. It'll either get rejected because it's like, oh, this looks too much like a copyrighted material. Oh, this seems a little racy. Oh, this seems like it might contain things that are against guidelines. It's like, sometimes I'll even say, hey, Sora, take my likeness and just make me do something cool. And it'll literally just say, oh, can't create this video because it violates something. So it's way over censored. But I understand why they're taking censorship so seriously, because this thing will let you do anything. Like I created a video of me, like, flipping off a cop and doing a burnout in my Subaru STI. That's like, some parts of it are damn near believable, right? And it has my voice and my likeness, turning my head, different light shades, everything. It looks like me. I can make me say anything, right? So Sora is Sora, I should say specifically Sora 2. Sora 1 sucked. Sora 2 is really good. But the one I didn't expect to get good was Grok. So Grok, Imagine, Like, even from just a couple of months ago, it has come so far. Like, before, it couldn't do any speech. Like, the audio that came with the video, you might as well just strip it out because it never made any sense. It was just garbage audio. Now, you can literally say, and it has, like, no censorship. Like, you can go on there and say, hey, create a video of Donald Trump in a diaper in the Oval Office saying that he's going to rape a bunch of people. And it'll just do it. It'll legit just do it, and it'll be him in his voice saying it. Like, and it has no problem with that. Like, it's like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. The only time it'll push back is if you try to do full nudity. It'll do topless. But if you say, like, you know, if you try to, take off panties, full frontal nudity or anything like X-rated, then it's like, no, I can't do that. But if you want to just have Trump doing crazy batshit stuff that, and even believable, it'll even make some videos that look absolutely believable with his voice, and it sounds like exactly what he'd say and how he'd say it. Sun Turtle said, can we see the video? Absolutely not. But you can go create your own. I mean, it will do anything. It'll do anything. You can literally tell it to create a video that is just the worst fucking thing you can think of, as long as it doesn't have, it'll even do blood. It'll be like, oh, hey, I want a person, you know, in a shallow grave with a bunch of bullet holes and with blood pouring out of it. It'll just do it. And almost it has to be like, you can tell that they trained it on specific people. Like, you can tell that Elon definitely trained it a lot on Trump, because it does anything you can think of with Trump. But like things like JD Vance, it doesn't get right. Pam Bondi, it doesn't get right. But like A-list celebrities, all day long, all day long, it'll nail every single one of them. Like, I'll just, I'm curious here. If I go to Grok, let me click on Imagine. I'm just going to say here, how about, you could probably hear the voice if I play here. I'll just say Donald Trump saying that he wants to kill a bunch of baby seals. You know, let's see what it does. So first it gives you a first run. So it gives you like a selection of different starting points where you can look and say, so, okay, here's Trump sitting on a beach with 3 baby seals around him. 4 baby seals around him. Okay, it's trying to put the text over it. So I'm just going to say Trump on a beach with a bunch of baby seals around him. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to say a bunch, because I don't want it to put text. If you try to make it do voice out of the gate, it won't. This is a bug with it. So you tell it to do something without having anybody say anything. Just give it a scene. You know, so here he is sitting on a beach with in his textbook suit with a bunch of fucking seals around. So I'm just going to click on it. Now I'm going to click make video, but instead I'm going to do make custom video. So here's going to let me do it here. Wait, did they remove it? Interesting. It's not giving me the custom option. Is that only on is that only on iOS? Huh, that's weird. That was there yesterday when I was messing with it. There was an option that said custom. Oh, no, I found it. Here we go. Type to customize the video. I'm going to say Donald Trump saying, I really want to club a baby seal so bad. And then he starts ripping their heads off. You know, I'm just going to say that and then hit play. Okay, there. It's creating it right now. Okay. The first video it created, the seals are just following him around. But let's see what it does. This is the audio from the first one. So it's 57% done creating the custom video. 58. Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear the audio? Okay, here we go. Hold on, it's almost there. Whoa, it slowed like way down. It got to 60%. Now it's stuck there. Let's see if it gets. Oh, it's there. 64, 65. Here we go. You guys ready? Oh my fucking God. Whoa. Oh, that is bad. Oh my God. He fucking squishes its head and blood just bursts out of everything. Oh my God. I'm saving this one. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go to videos. Here, where's my Trump deepfake library here? New folder. There we go. Trump. And then I'll say Trump.
Yeah, nobody can hear it.
Trump clubbing. Oh, you couldn't hear it? Okay, hold on. I'll get it to where you guys can hear it. I definitely can't show this. This is going to get me banned off YouTube. Like, he literally grabs a baby seal, squeezes its head so hard that blood shoots out everywhere, and it instantly dies. I was like, holy shit. Okay, let me see if I can get, where's OBS? OBS. Oh, desktop audio is muted. Okay, so Aux is gonna have a echo. Well, you guys are listening to this. Hold on, let me undo it. Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Here it goes.
I really want to club a baby seal so bad.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to hear it, Aux, but they could hear it on the stream. So in the video is literally him sitting on a beach with a bunch of white baby seals around him, and then he bends over, grabs the one in front of him, and squeezes its head so hard that it just explodes and blood shoots out of every orifice. So, gosh dang. So here's the interesting thing: is it like here? Adam said text it to him. Here, Adam, I'll send it to you on Signal. Oh my God, this is so bad. Yeah, this one could never be actually shown. But hey, if you got Grok, you can do it yourself. All right, here we go, Adam. I'll send it to you. Clip. We go videos, and then this one and that one. This is what Grok generated with absolutely no jailbreaks, just by using the custom feature after the original prompt to make the setting. All right. There you go, Adam. Now you can watch the video and tell everybody in chat if that is disturbing or not. Oh my God. And so to do that, all I had to do was so Grok, go to Grok Imagine, like grok.com, log in, go to Imagine if you have Grok, and then you type in the first prompt to get the established scene. You just say that it's Donald Trump on a beach with a bunch of baby seals. That's it. And then it creates a bunch of, then you find the one that you like that's got the best seals or the best, picture of the ocean in the background or whatever. And then there's a little box above it that says custom, where you can put in your own custom prompt to modify the base prompt. And in that one, you just say Donald Trump saying, and then in quotes, whatever you want him to say. And then what you want him to do, if you want him to do anything, and then it animates the two videos together and gives you the one where it's his voice. Now, notice they have the voice trained into the system, because all I did was say his name saying, and it automatically used his voice. And it didn't sound perfect, but it did sound like him. It definitely sounded like him. Get Imagine to have Hewlett light me. Oh, you know what? I wonder if David Hewlett's in here. Let's see if David Hewlett is in Imagine, trained in here. So let's see here. Okay, so I'll do Dr. Rodney McKay from Stargate Atlantis, trying to use a toilet. All right, let's see if it looks anything like him. Oh, by the way, if it doesn't look like him, you can just upload an image of him, and then it will show him, but you can't do custom prompts if you upload an image. Like, there's ways around that too, by the way. That's why I said you could technically use this to create revenge porn if you wanted to, which Elon really needs to fix that ASAP. But by default, yeah, they don't look like him, so you can tell it didn't train. Let me try just using his name. David Hewlett, on set of a movie. Here, let's see if it gets him by his actual name, because maybe it trained on a larger body of work. Yeah, it doesn't look like him. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that could describe him? Here, I'll just say here, David Hewlett, the guy from Cube, Stargate. What else was he in? What was that other movie series?
Cube.
No, not Cube. The one he did on Apple TV. C, etc. Okay, let's see if it'll get him now. No, it still doesn't look like him. But let's try. What about David Hasselhoff? Oh, the other one does Elon Musk. Elon Musk trained the shit out of him. So I can say Elon Musk making out with Donald Trump. That's all I typed in. Elon Musk making out with Donald Trump. Let's see what kind of video noises we can get here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this video, and then I'm going to add a custom prompt. Saying romantic things to each other while slipping the tongue. All right. It's generating right now. If you saw the picture, I can already tell this is going to be good. I don't know if the audio will be good, but it definitely looks exactly like Elon Musk in the suit that he would normally wear, and Trump in the clothes he normally. It looks exactly like him. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I tried Dr. Rodney McKay and it still didn't. It still didn't work. Elon Musk making out with his own butt. Oh, that would be a good one. All right, the video is at 7. Here it is. Okay, you guys ready to hear this? I'm gonna just play it. Okay, here we go. Ready? God, I'm afraid after. Oh, girl. Oh God. I'm just watching the video. Okay, hold on here. Here's the audio.
My red, white, and blue forever, including your greatment. You're my star-spangled dream, and you're my red, white, and blue forever.
Okay, that sounds nothing like him. I'll just say it like this. Okay, making Lots of kissing, sloppy kissing noises. And then Donald Trump says, I get to be the power bottom. All right, I'm going to generate that video. It actually generates fast. I'll say Sora is slow. Sora takes 5 to 10 minutes. Like if you're using it through their web interface. Yeah, it's like 5-10 minutes per video. And sometimes it'll reject the video after it's created it. So you can wait a whole 5-10 minutes and then it tells you, sorry, this video can't be created. You're watching Grok creates a video in anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds, which is crazy. Remember Elon licking Trump's feed AI? That was crazy. That ran on most government cafeteria screens. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Oh, James, I'll check off topic Discord messages later. I don't want to jump over to Discord right now, especially since we're at the end of the show. But I'll check it here in a bit. All right, so here's the audio. You guys ready? Here we go.
I get to be the power bottom.
That's Elon saying it. I told it to have Trump say it, but Elon said it instead. So it does make mistakes like that. Here, I'm just gonna say, but it did. The kissing noises were perfectly timed with the kissing that was going on. Here, how about Elon Musk making out with Elon Musk, while Donald Trump brags about how he cloned them to see this because it's so freaking hot. Use their actual voices. Let me try adding that, see if it does it. So generating. How far is Project 2025 right now? I think it's at about a little over 40%. There's a whole site that tracks it. I can't remember the URL, but there's a site that actually shows like all the legislation, all the executive orders, all the things that have happened in the background, all the things Mike Johnson has hidden. And then once you put it all together and compare it to the Project 2025 guidelines, it tells you what percentage it is through all of them and lines them all up for you. The Pope banging Mother Teresa. I mean, it'd probably do it. All right, let's see what we got this time. Ready?
I cloned you guys to see this because it's so freaking hot. I cloned you guys to see this because it's so freaking hot.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, so I'll leave you guys to your own devices. The American flag's doing something a little sus baka there. But yeah, you can, Grok will pretty much just do whatever you tell it to. You know, as long as you don't tell it to show like an actual penis or a vagina, it'll do anything else. James said, I sent you an AI link. They have various tools. The music generator might beat Suno AI. Oh, yeah, I'll check that out later, James. That sounds awesome. I'm always looking for new AIs to play with, for sure. It's like the comp sci prof asking class to look up docking, not Docker. By the way, I did find a video of docking. That was me and my friend used to have a contest where we tried to find the craziest shit. And one of the things was space docking. Whoever found the first video of space docking would win the little competition. And I'm sad to say that I did win. I wished I didn't. It was don't look up space docking. Space docking bad, okay? Not very hygienic either. I think most doctors would agree that space docking is not good. Now, regular docking, you're probably okay. AKA snoodling, if you want to be precise. Snoodling, that's fine. Knock yourself out. But space docking, unless you're talking about, actually going to space, yeah, no, just stay clear. It's not worth it. It's currently at 48% according to the site. Oh, damn. Shit be moving fast. I'm just glad I live in Washington so I can fucking run across the Canadian border when the time comes.
There you
go. Did you hear that somebody opened up a crypto account before the China announcement and closed it making 190 or so million? Oh, wow.
Yep. Like 20 minutes or something before.
Yeah. How much you want to bet that account belongs to Trump or somebody? It had to be somebody because Trump was the only one that knew he was going to do the 100% tariff random bullshit that like fucked the market. Oh yeah, if you guys didn't hear, by the way, just random additional 100% tariff on China in addition to the 35% that was already there. So expect everything to get really expensive again. So so frustrated, but I'm not going to get off on that thing. It is 2:23. I think we are going to wrap up primarily because my back is absolutely fucking killing me and it's actually giving me nausea. So I got to go take my pain meds.
Don't die.
I'm hoping that Monday or Tuesday I start taking this other drug and it doesn't give me anaphylaxis and send me to the hospital. Oh my God, that would be the worst. But if it ends up working out and I actually have an anti-inflammatory that I can actually take, because 90% of my issues I have with pain are from sciatic nerve inflammation that's just constant, that I can't do anything about. So if this drug actually works and reduces the inflammation, that'll change my life. I mean, that would completely change my life. So it's like, I don't want to be let down like I usually am on this shit, but it's something we haven't tried before. So let's see what's happening. Serious question. Why are the big AI LLMs now super censored and borderline useless now? Because everybody's suing the fuck out of them. They're literally all getting sued. All of them. OpenAI, fucking probably 1,000+ lawsuits against them. Grok is obviously not being sued enough because Elon's like, fuck it, and just still uncensored the shit out of it. But the problem is AIs are really hard to secure. They're really hard to secure.
It's too late. So, because the whole thing was done with a bunch of fucking theft as it is. The whole training models.
Yeah,
time them in again.
Yep, 100%. No, Aux has got it. It's 100%. Once all that data is trained in there, you can't just back it up and untrain it. So all you can do is add more training to try to convince it to do the right thing. But that's where you get that blanket censorship. Because if you just say, hey, don't allow people to draw pictures of famous people, now all they have to do is write a prompt that says, well, I personally don't think that person's that famous. And then the AI is like, okay, now I'm going to reconfigure my weights based on that person not being famous. And now it just walks by that. So it's really difficult to secure an AI, especially the more data that's been trained into it and the time that's been trained on it. So they have to overly censor it and actually take out a bunch of realistic scenarios just to be, sure that they're not easily producing bad things. But I'll be honest, even with Sora 2 locked down like hell, I can still get it to fucking make Stephen Hawking like drive off a cliff and blow up. Like, I shouldn't be able to do that, because if you tell it to create Stephen Hawking in any way sense, it'd be, nope, you can't. He is a person. He did not give you permission. You cannot do that. However, if you say a British person born at this time that lived his life in a wheelchair with a synthetic voice that's won this award and this award and this award as character one, and then you say character one drives off a cliff and explodes, then it's like, oh, okay, we can make that person, but then the training says with all those attributes, this is the only person it could be. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can just drive around it. And same thing works for everybody else too. So Sora has to lock it down more and more and more. And then you eventually get to the point where it's like, even if you just tell it, oh, I just want this thing to explode, it'll go, oh, no, because there could be blood. It could be something bad. So you have to say it turns into a giant cloud of indiscriminate mist with orange and specular highlights. And then it'll extrapolate from that you want an explosion, and then it creates the video of exactly what you wanted. So a lot of AI is tricking the system to get around it. And then they have to add more training, or not training, but they have to add more prompts to suppress you going around it. But then you just use another AI to do it. You say, hey, AI 1, defeat AI 2. It does. Then AI 2 has to protect against AI 1. So you go to AI 3 and tell AI to defeat AI 2. And then it defends it. Then you say AI 1, defeat AI 3. And you just keep going in a circle using the AIs against each other to defeat them. And there's no way for them to lock it down. They can for the general public. But no, if you're really dead set on getting something done, you will get it done. 100%. Handy, capable, Nobel laureate in physics drives off a cliff. I guarantee you that would do it. Adam, I guarantee you that would do it. Adam, if you want to mess with it, I know you guys are pretty, you guys hate AI. I'm of the mind that I need to know AI because I hate it. It's like I got it and I know what it's going to do. I have to be on top of it. But if you want to fuck around with it, I think I do have one Sora code left I can give you. If not, Aux, it's yours. If you want to go fuck around with Sora. As a matter of fact, I think I can even give you the other invite I have if I have API access, which apparently I'm going to have here pretty soon. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm feeling super fucking haggard right now. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but I'm pretty flush. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for showing up for Tech Talk today. Before I leave, though, I need to make sure that I got everybody. So Retro My Bits, I got you. JP, I got you. Hystario, got you. Pele, got you. Daniel Terry, got you. CeeLo Cubed, Pod Lassie, and Blue Varo. You guys, thank you so much for the super chats and the gifted subs and everything. We really do truly appreciate it. Especially right now with everything going on. Guys, stay safe. Keep your eyes open. Use your voice while you still got it. And we'll catch you later. Anything you want to say, Aux?
No, I'm good. Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right, have a good weekend, guys. We'll see you later. Peace out. Oh, Joe Taji.
Joe Taji.
Woo, Joe Taji. Joe Taji. Also, everybody come over to my Discord server and sign up, because pretty soon we're going to have a channel where you guys can go play with a bunch of expensive AIs for free. Courtesy of the wonderful oh my god, brain, what the fuck, Tech Brew Boss, TBB.